What's going on, everybody? Everybody! It's your boy Kirton with your boy Cletus here for the D.B.A.B. podcast. Every
Podcast,
week is different.
podcast, podcast,
Every
podcast,
ev-
podcast.
every week is different. Every week is different. Kind of getting away from our title page. Not that it's terrible, and the music. I just when I go back and listen to our show every once in a while, which honestly I don't know about you, Cleet, but I don't like hearing myself, just like I don't like seeing myself in
Oh,
pictures. So
100%.
I don't necessarily go back and listen to every episode. I just trust and know that I can remember obviously this moment and understand that we had a good show and just kind of just put it out there for
Yeah.
the world to see. So, but again, I don't. I know our music, our intro music, if you will, does not sound very good through the sites that we were using. So we apologize for that, but we're still young
Eh.
into this. We're still green. Once we ever find somebody that could help us be more tech savvy, or if we ever decide to do this more uh,
Consistently.
consistently, professionally, all the above, then it'll get better. Uh, but again, it's your boy Curtin here. We got Cleet. It's just the two of us again. Jack is out of state. He and his wonderful MVP wife Hannah are in the great state of Cali. Just kidding on great state, but they are in California doing the whole Disneyland
They're
and all that kind of stuff. So
they
they're
look
having a
like
great
they're
time.
having a good time.
Oh, I think they're having a great time.
Went Universal. Was it Universal the other day?
They
I
went
saw.
to. I think they went to Disneyland, and then they went to the adventure parks next door.
Okay, that's what it was. Because I guess it's yesterday. She posted on her Instagram. They're at Central Park.
Yeah, well, they went to the. They did a tour of the Warner Brothers studios,
Yeah, and so
which is dope.
and I saw this at 8 o'clock at night, and that was like 2 hours after they left. And so I went. I messaged Hannah saying, "Well, crap! If I knew, I wish I would have just saw that sooner. I would have asked y'all to grab me something
Right.
because
Yeah, I know.
I'm a big Friends fan.
I got you.
Love
I got.
love me some. I'm a big '90s sitcom fan.
I got you.
I'm a sucker for a good
So
'90s
you like
sitcom.
Friends would be in there. Seinfeld would probably be on that list for you.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
not. I like Seinfeld. I'm not a huge Seinfeld fan though, but
okay.
I do enjoy a handful of episodes in
Okay.
Seinfeld.
Yeah, I haven't
Pretty,
watched
it's
it. Yeah, I haven't watched it from beginning to end. I just know there's certain parts in there and certain characters. But
King of Queens.
oh, King and Queen's a great
Everybody
show.
everybody loves Raymond.
Hmm.
Um,
Frasier. I remember all these shows because
Frasier's a good one.
they were on. When I was kids, we would stay up late watching just TV, like local channel
Hmm.
TVs, and then if you stayed up late enough, then you just start watching reruns of Friends and all these shows, and it was just a great time to watch them.
Oh yeah, and let's see, Home Improvement.
Mm, great show.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Drew Carey show, which
Not
is
bad.
pretty good. That '70s show,
Yep, that was a good one.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah, that was a Disney, like when Disney was just getting
Yeah,
into media and stuff.
I'm kind of looking here. The dinosaurs was a '90s show. I forgot about that. Then obviously got like Beavis and Butthead, Futurama, Keen and Kel, those guys. But yeah, man, freaking. But like I said, Kenny Queen's Friends, Home Improvement, Frasier, everybody loves Raymond,
Yeah,
and that
great.
kind of gives me into like The Office, The Big Bang Theory, Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I got
You know, they're if I could ever find a good sitcom to sit down and watch, I'll do it. Like one summer I binged every episode, of The Big Bang Theory.
you. Yeah,
I just sat down episode one, and that it took me about a month to get through from episode one to the season finale, the final episode.
oh wow, I forgot the show's not on no more.
Yeah,
That's
but
pretty good.
but again, like TBS, TBS always has like 2 hour, 3 hours of Friends, like a block of Friends. still playing, and them Big Bang. So yeah, like I said, big fan of Friends. So I saw they were there. I'm like, heck yeah.
Yeah, because one of the places they saw was the apartment, the Big Bang apartment. So that's pretty cool. But
Oh, nice.
yeah, so they're having a great time over there, and then the rest of the crew is out doing their thing. Out to eat with family, busy with
Yeah,
little ones, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Enjoying this last war for five of us, five of us, five of us enjoying this last little bit of
yeah, for sure.
a break before the
Yeah, before
spring gets rolling.
yeah, but I will say this about spring, for the most part. Now this year is gonna be a little bit different because I don't have a winter sport to kind of help continue on, and then usually by when you're done with your winter sport, school's basically done, if you will, for the most part.
Well,
But
depends what sports you got.
true, soccer,
Soccer, yes, pretty
we're done in
much.
March, so it's like school's done in next month and a half, so you just kind of coast from there. Uh,
Right.
but
How
spring
is
does, huh?
how is it not coaching soccer this year? Is it
Uh,
weird?
It's actually been kind of, I don't know, like, I had a guy,
Do
he was
you
at East Chambers,
still
like,
miss it?
yeah, for sure, because obviously having so much ties to the sport of playing it growing
Hmm.
up and stuff, so, like, um,
Is it kind
I
of
had
weird not being a coach of soccer right now?
yes and no, right? I had kinda made a really good friend with another coach from the school, in East Chambers, and we used to talk back and forth, and he reached out the other day, and he was just like, "How does it feel? Da 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 da," and I just told him, like, at the moment, it's like yes and no. Like, I miss it for the sport itself. I miss it for the games and all that kind of stuff, the camaraderie with the kids, whatever. But like, I don't miss. Uh, I'll be honest. Like,
Freezing.
well, that too, the weather. But we got lucky
So,
sometimes. We got lucky in Sealy
soccer
for the most part.
season is not the most ideal time of the year.
I will say, like,
Freaking
I've been pretty fortunate with weather. Because in Port Isabel, those 2 years, it got chilly and all that kind of stuff, but it never got super super bad. And then in Sealy, for the
same
two
thing,
years.
right?
Yeah, like, we maybe had a couple of times here and there, or maybe a week or 2 where it was blistering cold or it had rain, and then for the most of it, it was manageable and perfectly fine, you know what I mean? Like, very
Right.
fortunate with weather,
Not
all that
not
kind of
up
stuff.
here where the
Yes.
soccer kids are in freaking thermals
Yeah. I mean,
and freaking beanies and gloves.
we like I said, we would have, like, a week or 2 of that, max, and then it
Right.
would get back to respectable weather till we didn't have to worry about bundling up, whatnot, but, I do miss it overall. I don't miss all the behind the scenes stuff, especially the last couple of years, or especially last year. Like, I did everything on my own, so, like, which it's a little bit different than football. Obviously, football, you need more people for help, but, um, just doing all
Do you
the
not do you not have an
logistics.
assistant last year?
Mm-mm, no.
Really?
Yeah.
You did
So
not have that's crazy to me.
yeah,
At four at
so
high school, you wouldn't have an assist somebody to go
yeah.
or mob goes, hey, by the way, you're the JV soccer coach. You're gonna help Josh. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about soccer. That's fine. Just be
Yeah.
there, help him out. Whatever he needs, he'll run all the practice. Just be there and just
Yeah,
see what
so
he needs and help him out.
yeah, so my first year of coach of being the head guy in Sealy, like, I had an assistant who was at the junior high, great guy, knew soccer, was hyper energetic, the kids fed off it, all that kind of stuff. So, but then he got out of teaching and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
my last year there, and then we kind of never really filled,
Hire that spot
if you will, yeah. Like, we probably hired another coach, but it wasn't. And our AD at the time, we had spoke, um, about it, and I was perfectly fine with just having with the boys myself. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a
because
certain amount of kids, not too
because
many.
PI you did that, didn't you? You were the soccer coach. You
Yeah,
didn't have you didn't have an assistant.
I did, but
Oh, you did. Okay.
yeah, but I had an assistant, but it was one of
Was
those things
it was
where,
basically you're by yourself.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like, he was more of a babysitter during the athletic period when
Hmm.
I couldn't be there. Other than that, like, I did everything else. So I already had experience with, um, doing everything on my own. You know what I mean? And not to make it seem like it's, like 1,000 chores to do, but it's compared to maybe some other sports, it's not necessarily as bad. You got to go through the logistics of making sure that you have your eligibility list, rosters, your schedules are set up,
Right.
which I always found like,
Ordering stuff.
yeah, ordering equipment. Now, if you're organized and you get in ahead of time, then it's not a pain to deal with, and you don't have to worry about ordering as much stuff like we did for like football and whatnot. Um, the only thing that was kind of a pain was just was balls. Because you could order 100 balls and lose half of them over the course of a year, and you don't know how. I mean, they just grow feet, walk away, and disappear. You know what I mean? So
It's like footballs.
yeah,
I
I mean,
swear, you open a brand new football and that hoe is gone, or it's in like the kicking bag,
yeah, yeah,
and the kickers are kicking it and it hits the turf and you just ruin the football. And
yeah,
so you got to break another one out. And the defensive guys take the damn footballs because they always get the shitty ones.
yeah,
So
for
they get a good
sure.
football, they take them.
That's always one thing I've put in my memory bank and notes because obviously, everywhere I've been, offensive guys have gotten the nicer footballs and defensive guys have
Yes,
gotten the beat down, hand me
the
downs.
old, the
And
old
yeah, and for the most part,
broke in, they're old
yeah,
broke in
and
footballs.
for the most part, defensive guys, they don't really need a brand new football. When you think about it, they don't need a brand new football to go through and do their stuff. But it's just like that kind of joke, if you will, that they just get the beat down, no longer good. Here you go, footballs, while offense
And
get brand new shiny ones. But
and offensive linemen, they get the soon to be defensive balls.
yeah,
So they don't get the brand new ones. They don't get the broken ones. They get the ones that are pretty slick. They're almost going over. They're good enough not to be defensive balls, but they're
yeah,
bad enough not to be used by the skill
that's
guys.
yeah, that's true. Now there have been times where when we go to inside, I try to make sure to bring at least somewhat of a good football over there, so the center and all them can have a good football that we're using for
See,
inside. You know what I mean?
he's not snapping a freaking rain drenched football that's slicker than freaking
Yeah, or like a football that
dang.
has no longer has the little grooves on it as smooth as a baby's bottom or something. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but otherwise, like and of course, my last year I didn't have one. Um, the guy that used to be the head coach, we kind of made him like the soccer coordinator, so he kind of oversaw boys and girls, if you will. And then our girls coach was like brand new, so he kind of like sided that side, and I told our AD, I was just like, I'll be fine, like I can handle it. Um, I'm only going to carry this amount of kids, which is the exact amount of jerseys we had. I'll be fine. Da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fine. What I mean? It's just um, the only thing for me is just practice, organizing of practice. At times was challenging because you have it's kind of different compared to football. How you script and do practice for football because it's all group. You got India work where you're working on stuff, and then you got
Mm-hmm.
inside and routes was there and team and da 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 da. Where it's not for that. There's not necessarily you can't change it up based on the skill level of your kids. You know what I mean? Like you're not gonna have two inside periods going where you have all right. Here's my best skill kids going, and then here's my not skilled kids going. If that makes sense. So like in soccer, it was kind of challenging to do drills and stuff like that, because you might do a drill that's more geared towards you're trying to do something that's geared towards kids that are 17, 18 years old, you know what I mean? But then skill wise, they can't do it and they have to do a drill that's more comparable for a 12 or 13-year-old, if that makes sense.
Right. Just it's their skill doesn't allow them to
Yeah.
do the drill you want to do.
All
You
right.
kind of have to you got to scale it down, then build on it,
Yeah. Because,
so they can eventually do the drill when they're a junior, senior, a junior, senior.
yeah. So, like, it's like, because for football, when in a well run program, when those kids and say the staff, there's not much turnover coaching wise, but like from the time they enter junior high all the way to the time they graduate, they're in the same type of system, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah,
like,
same
in junior
drills.
high, they're running the same type of stuff. They're practicing kind of in the same type of system in terms of what they do. and then you get them as freshman JV and in the course of varsity, and it's like it's the same throughout. So they build on their skills and all that kind of stuff throughout, and then by the time they're on varsity as a junior or senior or maybe even a sophomore, you know they're good. You don't have to like dial it back for 'em, if that makes sense in terms of practice. You know, play wise and all the stuff you do, but not to what you do in practice, right? Uh,
Right.
Whereas in soccer, it's some schools are different. Like if you got them at the junior high, and it could be the same thing. But if you don't, it's more of like, and those kids don't play year round. Um, club soccer and stuff like that, and then they just play for high school. It's only high school soccer is only for you know 4 months, if that,
Right.
3 to 4 months that they play, and then for the rest of the 8 to 9 months of the year, they don't do nothing. So they don't build up on their skills and stuff like that. So like my challenge, same thing in PI, was have these kids and have a couple of them here and there that were really good and technically good skill wise and all that kind of stuff, and then the rest of them are just lagging behind because they just don't play the sport or have an
Right.
IQ
Well,
of the sport.
it's a skill sport, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Like, so it's probably a lot. It's a lot like basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
It's if those sports like soccer. If you don't really work all those skills year round, you lose them.
Oh yeah.
You know, kids get mad when they go to basketball season and they can't shoot. Well, how many shots have you taken in the off season?
Yes.
Well, none,
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah.
When's the last time you've been in the gym? Last February.
Right. Yeah.
Can't
It's just
expect to be good. Can't expect to be good at basketball if you
yeah.
don't put the time in during the off season.
And it's so frustrating because, like, just like you said, basketball taking a shot. Well, soccer is like making a pass. Like passing the ball with your feet from one person to another. And there were times where literally we could be 5 feet from each other, 10 feet from each other, and we couldn't accomplish that successfully. You know, 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? It was just those little things. But then you talk to them, and those are the things we'd work in practice, like those minimum skills, like working on those minimal, like doing drills that worked on that, and then if they bought in and did it right, you would see some type of progression throughout the year. But it was just like
Mm-hmm.
last year was the best time was the best start I ever had to a season. If that makes sense in terms of those kids
Mm-hmm.
coming in, most of them being on the team last year, going through having good practices and stuff, and starting off good, and then we kind of faltered at the end. But uh, a lot of times it's slow starts because you have to it's literally you have to start over every year. Kind of feel like, and then for majority of those kids, and then your elite kids, if you will, your top edge kids, kind of get drugged down with everybody else because you're catering to so much. So it was challenging, but anyways, getting back
Right.
to what you originally said, all that other shenanigans we were just talking about. I do miss it, but I don't miss all the other stuff that people don't see. I'm gonna miss the games, um,
Right.
the camaraderie with the kids and stuff like that. But I'm really interested, not interested. I'm really excited not to have a winter sport to uh, be able to be more around for our kids for off season stuff, football wise, um, in the weight room. If I'm not out driving 4,000 buses, uh, having the chance to go to more clinics this year. Last year was the first time I was able to go to some and had an absolute blast trying to just network, meet more people, maybe learn a thing here or two. Uh, my goal this off season is to continue to improve, obviously as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
um, all that kind of stuff. Uh, you know what I mean? So just little things like that. Whatnot. So I think I'm moving positions this year, not officially
Or two.
said. Uh, it's been talked about going from where I was to more of our wise H back
Tight end.
tight end stuff. So
Good. Good, man. You need a you'll need a I don't know. I know you want to be a offense coordinator. I know that's a big goal for you,
right,
and I'm a firm believer, man. You it's good to coach skill guys, but you need to get to really I don't know. I'm coaching the big boys is I think really important
Oh, I agree.
to,
I
you
I
know,
I agree. I think some of the best
and
offensive I think some of the best OCs are guys that, yeah, they do quarterbacks and stuff, but they understand
O-line play.
O-line and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and
And so you move into the almost big boys, I think that's gonna be good, man. You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn a lot, and
yeah.
be around those guys with the hand in the grass.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes
we'll see how it shakes out. That's kind of the preliminary um, discussions that we had at the state games. If it opened up to where I could slide in and help with, because for me, I feel like my natural like change, if you will, or position that I would want to go to uh, is either offensive line or quarterbacks, and uh, offensive line is just for me is just more of understanding what those guys do and going through and learning the more
the
intricacies of offensive line besides
the
just,
new the nuance stuff.
yeah, I've kind
Yeah,
of heard and a little bit here and there, and kind of in my mind as we go over like an inside, like kind of when we're running certain things in my mind, kind of like picking up stuff to make it easier to teach, uh, while also filling in with the details that the more experienced people kind of talk about. Uh, and then quarterback wise, for me, mainly it's not necessarily just the position itself, but it's understanding the back end of a defense. You know what I mean? Like I feel really uh confident, no, competent with the box and what's going on in the box and how to all that stuff. Now Friday nights, trying to see that sometimes is a bit not challenging, but still learning. But this year when I had to signal plays, I wasn't able to. It was hard to contribute to our game plan or adjustments because I'm too busy signaling and
having a
worried that
signal.
everybody's okay there to watch what's going on. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm the same way. My big weakness, I'll tell you right now, is it's the back end. So it's the safeties, quarterbacks. I could. I mean, my buddy at DC, you know, he always talked about coaching mechanics is the most overcoached thing in America. How a quarterback throws the ball. Well, does he throw the ball? Does he deliver it on time? Does he get there? Does he get does he deliver on time? Does he make good decisions? And does he get there where he needs to get there? If it checks all three of those boxes, my buddies, I don't mess with quarterback throwing mechanics. I may tell him to get his elbow up a little bit, just
Right.
the little stuff. But how you throw the ball is how you throw the ball.
And
You
and
know.
and then too, like if you're going to mess with somebody's mechanics or try to tweak it here and there, that's more of something that you do in the spring, over the summer, and then when the season comes, that's when you worry about like what you just said,
Hmm.
talked about making sure that he understands what's going on. Everything else besides like if he can get it there, if he's accurate and he's on time, it doesn't care how he throws the ball, we're going to be competent. If we want to make tweaks to it because it can help them out with X, Y, and Z, then you do that um, over the spring and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. We had a kid. He's at Eastern right now. He's a baseball player. And just he threw. I mean, you could tell he threw. He played a lot of baseball, and so he kind of threw the football a little bit like he threw a baseball.
Hmm.
He'll kind of go a little sidearm with it,
Right.
but I mean, the ball got where it's supposed to be on time, and so we really didn't. He would really work. Okay, hey, here we're looking here to here. You're reading the overhang, and you're looking. If he's driving here, throw it here. If he's sinking, throw it there.
Right.
Just that kind of stuff. Who's reading, but it's just be good. Like I said, I've dealt a little bit of quarterbacks just having to call, and just having to call like Thursday night offenses.
Right.
When you're the only position coach, the offensive position coach there, you gotta somewhat be knowledgeable about uh, everything and be
Yeah.
able to go, okay, hey, make sure we're doing this.
Yeah, for sure. Like, and again, that's another thing for me. Like if I were to go say quarterback, even I think with Wise and stuff like that, it could probably work out well in terms of pass game. But I never really, besides some of our maybe our basic concepts that we put in early in the year and just kept repping a bunch. I
Hmm.
was able to understand and know and be able to kind of coach that on the younger levels, uh, whatnot. But just again, just understanding, like, say if quarterbacks, whatever, understanding what they're doing in the back end, but also helping me understand what we are doing in our pass game. Because I feel like I said earlier, like I'm pretty confident in what we're doing or what we're trying to do, da da da, in our run game. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
uh, not to make it sound like it's the easiest job in the world, but the running backs coach is not the most difficult position to coach on a football field. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
it's probably the easiest besides, you know, kicking the football. So,
Right. I understand that. I understand that for sure, man.
but we'll see. We'll see how the dominoes fall and how how it is, especially with this year being realignment and whatnot. We'll see how things shake out if there's movement here or there or
Right. Yeah,
opportunities
man.
here and there. So,
Oh yeah. And I'm with you. I understand that for sure. I checked the. I don't plan on going anywhere, but I freaking me and our head coach were joking about. He goes, "Is it bad that I check the job board every day?" I go, "Nope," because I do the same thing. I like. I mean, it was.
well, the one thing about doing, I haven't really gone in and looked at it yet. Especially the last couple of weeks because I just feel like haven't been home, but um, but I feel like it never hurts to look because there's no harm in it. If you get every day and you're just looking just to look, not necessarily with a mindset to leave, but you're just looking because you never know. There
Or
might be an opportunity that pops up that is just
mm-hmm,
too
it's
good for
right there. You going? Oh, okay.
yeah,
Oh,
like
I didn't realize he was leaving.
right. And like somebody for like like Jack or yourself, some like you guys that are really experienced and further along, like say something pops up, like for example, say OC gig pops up, you know what I mean, or co-offensive coordinator gig slash offensive lineman pops up, and you guys are, and it's at uh, a good school or whatever the case, whatever the thing is,
Yeah.
like it's just there's always opportunities out there, and 'cause, obviously you're just looking at it, you don't want to just not look at it.
Right. And it's one of those things too. It's like kind of like last year, and y'all kind of, and the DBAB got people, all 10 of them, kind of know my journey last year of trying to get to Lubbock, trying to get to Lubbock, trying to get to Lubbock.
Hmm.
Nothing, 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 nothing,
Yep.
nothing, and it just kind of worked out where I ended up at. You know,
It's so crazy. Like just to talk about it, kind of deviate a
and
little
I
bit from what we're talking about. Go ahead.
and I guarantee you, this year is going to be a ton of jobs in this area. I can almost assure you. Like
Well,
last
there's
year,
there's there's already one head coach opening right now, so that's definitely going to have a
oh
trickle
yeah,
effect somehow. So
and there's a big OC job in this area too, opened up.
recently,
Shally,
oh yeah, for sure,
that I mean that's a big OC job
yeah,
in this area.
yeah, for sure. That's just like somebody I know, which Cletus, because uh, I don't know much about what he's got going on. I don't want to jinx it or whatever, but Uh, I'll just say he's a former employer of mine. He's also got something apparently that he's working on, so uh, there could be something along those lines. Yeah, I mean, there's always
Okay.
something going on, especially the more that we network. the more that we get to know people, the opportunities that are going to arise are just
Oh
going to
yeah.
continue
Well,
to
I
expand.
know, like that chalet deal. I know, I know two people that put their name in the hat for it already,
Right.
and two people I know but both of them I know really well.
Right.
And I told both, one of them told me today he put it in, and the other one told me like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I told them both, said, dude, go for it.
Yep.
Worst they can tell you is no.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's the absolute worst thing they can tell you is
Yeah.
no.
Or
And
or you get to go through the process. You get to be wined and dine, if you will. Maybe not at the head coach level, wine and dine, but wined and dine for a coordinated position. You get that experience of going through that process, and then at the end of the day, if they decide to go a different way, it might be a bummer, but at the same time, it's so much more beneficial for you to understand the ins and outs of it. Asking for feedback about what you need to, how you need to be better so that next time you don't get, what I mean, like all that kind of stuff. Like it's so
mhm.
always look for the positives in a situation, people. So I feel like that's a jack thing to say, right? Always look for the positives, always the
Oh yeah.
glass half full, and that kind of stuff. Especially in our profession, man. Like every year, there's always so much turnover here and there. There's opportunities to do this and this. As long as you allow or acceptable of those opportunities. Like if you're
Well,
content with just sitting there or hoping that something falls in your lap, y- it's not going to happen.
it's like, we're talking about last year. I really wanted to try to find a job in the Lubbock area, for obvious reasons.
Right.
But there were so many jobs around, like Peaster, Brock,
Oh,
Scurrier
sure.
Rosser. There's a lot of jobs closer to y'all,
Yeah.
a ton closer to y'all.
I bet, like, if you like, honestly, if you truly wanted to come this way, like, say the ties that you had, the reason that you were going to Lubbock came this way or were this way, or you wanted to come this way, you could have easily got
Oh,
up.
100%.
We more than likely we would probably be working together.
Oh, 100%. Because I know your boss,
Yeah,
or one of your bosses, pretty
yeah.
well, you know.
Oh, and
And
the other one you would be. Y'all would be.
the other one, I've emailed them about a job a few years ago.
Yeah, yeah. But once you met him and got to know him, like you'd be you'd be part of the family. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like,
it's one of those. It was funny how this always works. Um, I talked to a guy. His name is Carroll. I can't remember his first name. Coach Carroll. He was at Sonora for a little bit, McCamey for a little bit. Well, he worked with Mob at Sweetwater when they played for it all,
mhm,
and he told me the story of, like, he's at Colorado City with Coach Gainey
mhm.
for a long time. And Mobley, he knew Mobley pretty well. And Mobley called him and said, "Hey, we'll come to Sweetwater, or come to Sweetwater." And he goes, "I don't know." And I think he said Mobs told him, said, "Are you okay with just winning 10 games and getting beat in the first round, or you want to go try to win the whole dang thing?" And he goes, "What?" He told him again. Well, he said they're sitting in the freaking lobby the night before the state championship game. And Mob looked at Carroll and said, "I told you."
Shit, I wish he would have said that same shit to me.
He goes, I told you."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they had a good run there, so uh, you know, hopefully it works out. But
And so it's just funny, just that kind of stuff. And yeah, man, and I know, like you said, if it worked out where I could have gone that way, I would have jumped freaking. I would have done it.
right,
I would have done it
yeah,
in a heartbeat.
yeah, for sure, I know.
And
But the boys know as to why you decided to go back to the 806. And
Oh yeah.
honestly, too, when you think about it, like it all works out. Like everything happened. Like everything works out for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm a big
Oh yeah.
believer in that. Like your story, like last year when you're searching, you're looking, you had interviews here, here, or here. You talked to multiple people, and it just felt like it kept dragging on, and like maybe nothing was gonna work out, and then boom, Roosevelt comes along, and you go there, and
Mhm.
y'all have a great season, um, and you get to be, you know, your other reasons are
Mhm.
right there too. So you know, it works out just like the same for Jack and them. Y'all had a great run, or and DC, and of course he comes to PI, and then after PI they go up to Terrell, and they've had a lot of six. They've done a lot of good things in Terrell the last few years.
Yep.
Obviously we've got to expand our brotherhood, if you will, with the addition of uh, well, technically the addition of all of us. When you think about it, Jack's the main glue for everything. But
Yeah.
with the ability to add
Ooh,
Cobbs and the ability to add uh,
Benny.
Blaze and stuff like that, it's been so great. What he's been able to do there in Terrell, and then of course, when I hate to just kind of talk about me, but like when I went through it, like the first time I had a couple of schools and had one that I was going to because
Oh, I know. I remember. I remember.
I
Uh,
remember like I
well, you were. I remember the. I remember you were freaking. You were so damn close to signing that dotted line.
oh
Like you
man,
were
but like
ready. You were freaking ready to sign
I
and
felt
move
like
the next day.
I my thing. So it was funny. It was ironic because like it was the first time going through the whole process of looking for a job here in state and using the job board and sending out resumes and all this kind of stuff. And it was coming out of
Was it
uh
COVID?
yeah, it was coming out of
During COVID,
COVID. Yeah, and all that stuff. So I remember there were several times I had
you were
Zoom
Zoom
interviews.
interviews.
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause I remember
remember
having
that.
one with ropes with Blake and them.
Mm-hmm.
Had one with the former. It was he's at Blanco now, but it was the former head coach of Industrial. I even spoke to him on the phone, and then this guy, Cleveland. I was speaking to Cleveland High School. All these. This was. I felt like it was the first go around of like schools I was talking to. Abilene was kind of in that mix too. I think. No, maybe not. But if
Hi.
yeah, going Fulton and stuff, but like it's kind of it felt like a recruitment process when I started to have some of these schools that were talking to me and we're going back and forth. And I would say like I got like this little small taste of what it feels like in the recruiting process, but going through talking to those schools and then like Cleveland coach who's no longer there, I think he moved back to his home state up north, but like he was like one of those guys that was just like on it, like trying to like push to get through and get these guys signed up, da 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 da, and not letting stuff kind of drag out. And
Every time I see a job from Cleveland open up, I think about you, and that whole ordeal and that whole
and looking
stuff that
into it,
kind of happened with it.
yeah, yeah, and looking into it,
It was a
obviously,
blessing. It was a
oh,
blessing that you did not go there.
oh, for sure. But just to let the viewers know, like, kind of about the school itself, and not trying to bash them or whatever, but like football wise,
Not try to bash him, but just telling the
yeah,
truth here.
yeah, no offense, but their football program is not very good. And of course, they had a new head coach coming in, and he was kind of, just typical, bringing that energy, juice, da 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 da.
Trying to change some stuff.
Yeah, and have upgrading their facilities, building some new stuff, trying to make it look nice. They were investing money in athletics, had some nice facilities, da 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 da. The pay was really, really good. All
Yeah.
this kind of stuff, and then like their head coach at the time just was really adamant about kind of getting me there, and it finally got to the point where I was kind of waiting to hear from some other schools. Didn't really get it, and I was just like, you know what? I'll just do it. I'll go. So I was just like, Coach, I'm ready to go. Let's make this work. Da da da. He was excited. Uh, he's like, all right. I'll get back to you with the next steps or whatever. Da da da. Right, so going back and forth. Wait a little while, and then I remember that phone. I think he called. Yeah, he called. I remember the phone call, and he's just like, "Hey, man, just gotta let you know, got some bad news. Talk to our HR person. Da 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 da. but uh, it's not going to work out. Basically, is what he said. It wasn't going to work out. You know what I mean? And so that fell through. And of course, by that time is when this is when Abilene High got into the picture. I was talking with them, and of course, I know people that know people. So this is how I'm starting to build up and getting all these kind of this access towards stuff or whatever. But like, I was talking to Abilene High. I think at the time, can't remember. There was maybe another school, and then of course when when the mention of going to Sealy got brought up, I was automatically like, "Yep, let's do it." You know what I mean? Because I knew Coach Mobley beforehand. I knew he's a great person. I knew they had a good program there in Sealy. Um, I was just like, "All right, this is where I want to go. Sealy is." You know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
but I would have been perfectly fine with going to Abilene, except it would have been Abilene Cooper. But uh, but still, I would have been fine with up there. But went to Sealy, worked out, blessing in disguise. Had 3 amazing years at Sealy. Um, if things were different, I could still see myself there, uh, or whatever. But just great guys down there, or whatever. But came to find out later on when that head coach left, one of my contacts that I knew, I guess they were talking about it, or whatever. But like the reason why I got denied, if you will, is because my former principal in PI didn't have some nice things to say.
That wonderful lady.
Yeah, that wonderful person really at the time screwed me over, but it was a blessing in disguise. So thank you, Nancy. I appreciate it.
Uh,
It was great, and then, of course, the whole process of last year going through it again. You know what I mean? Because I remember, I know this is a little fun podcasting here, but just kind of showing our viewers the ins and outs of how this stuff goes. Obviously, the more people you know, the connections. Maybe we'll
it's
get to
li-
that stage. Maybe we'll
it's
get to that stage
it
where
be,
people will come to us more instead of us having to
it,
go to them. You know
it
what I
it
mean? So
becomes a little easier to find jobs when
yeah, you know, what I mean, it's
when you know people,
well
or
that too.
at least you have a little bit you have a better chance.
Yeah, I mean,
Not
so
guaranteed, but
yeah,
you at least have a you can get your foot in the door.
right. So that, or like if you're at a place that is done well, and you can kind of get your name out there based on your performance, if you will.
Hmm.
All that, like, it's gonna be nice to the when we get to the day where people are coming to you instead of you going to them type stuff. But that'll be nice. But anyway, so like going through the second time was obviously knew more about it. Obviously knew I was wanting to come to the DFW area. Was a little bit ambitious with some of the places I threw my hat in the ring. You know what I mean? Like
Crap
Toledo.
again.
Yeah,
Hey, the worst thing they can tell you is no. Now,
yeah,
no sucks.
yeah.
Here,
But
no
the same,
suck.
yeah. But I rather at least try to throw it out there and then be told no than
What
sitting
and
and wondering.
what I appreciate is head coaches at least giving you the courtesy of giving you a call and say, "Hey, you didn't get it.
Yeah,
We decided to go.
or
We decided to go with someone else.
they give you an email, like if you send in your resume and they give you an email saying like, "Hey, thanks for submitting your email, but we decided to,
Go in
you
a different
know."
direction."
Yeah, as long as they acknowledge it, that's what I'm
Yep.
okay with. Now, last time going through it, like I said, ambitious. So Alito, Gunter, Duncanville, some of these other schools that had openings. I just for some of them, I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just gonna just send my stuff in, and we'll see what happens. If they contact me, great. If not, I'm not gonna cry. There's gonna be no spilt milk about it. But of course,
Hmm.
never really heard anything back from those schools. Sometimes some schools I sent stuff to, like, I would hear like, "Oh, thanks, coach, for turning it in. I'll look at it and get back to you." Da da da, and then never hear from again. That was typical. There was one school that had sent stuff to, spoke with them, had an interview. I forgot. I think it was a defensive assistant position, and then like special teams coordinator or something like that. So,
Hmm.
had an interview. Was a bit on my end, and my own kind of body was nervous. A lot of it was new to me. Obviously going to defense would have been new. Being a special teams coordinator at that time would have been new. Um, all that, but uh, had the interview. They said, "All right, we'll get back to you," and then I didn't hear back until
You got
after I
the
got.
The
after
piece
I
of
get
job.
yeah, it was literally months later when I finally got, like, an email
Oh,
saying like, "Hey, thanks for your interest, but we decided to go a different route," and I was just like,
uh,
"Alright,
I
cool,"
figured
like
it was like, figured. I
yeah,
kind of figured I haven't heard from you in like 2 months, but
yeah, you know what I mean, and
oh
then
yeah,
there was another one too, like, that I know somebody that knows people at school that I'd sent my stuff to a couple of times and never, ever heard anything back from, even though that I'd met their head coach at a clinic and talked to him and stuff like that, but, you know what I mean, sometimes it's just how it goes, you know what I mean?
that sounds
Had a
familiar.
yeah, had a gig lined up at a pretty well-known 6A school in North Dallas, was really excited about it, uh, whatnot, and kinda got talked out of it, and then, of course, the whole Peaster thing popped up, which was exciting, and
Yeah.
that's where we are, so
Oh yeah, man. So heck yeah, it's crazy how that all that works.
yeah, and then, like, it was kinda funny, like, I don't know how to take it, but, like, there was a guy I worked with at Sealy that he went, my last before my last year at Sealy, he left to take the wide receivers job and head assistant baseball at Brock, right? His wife's is from that area or close to it, so she wanted to move
Hmm.
closer back to family or whatever. So, but good move for him professionally. You know what I mean?
Oh
Going
yeah,
up there. Uh, so of course we go up here and we go over there to play him this year, and we're talking pregame, kind of like catching up and stuff like that. And he's just like, "Man, I almost hit you up this summer because we had an open position, and you were the first guy I thought of, and da 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 da, and all this kind of stuff." And I was just like, I
oh,
was just
thanks
like,
man,
I was
thanks
just,
man,
yeah,
appreciate it.
don't tell me that now. Like, no offense, I love it. In Peaster so far, great kids. I love who I work for in terms of Coach Owens and Coach Mob and all the other coaches and stuff like that. But obviously, they have that thought in the back of your mind when you have like, obviously at a school like that. I mean, sometimes it's like, man, don't be dangling that carrot. I mean, don't be rubbing it in right now that, yeah, but it's all good and fun.
Yeah.
Things will work out.
So let me ask you this: bowl season.
Mm, let's talk about it.
You did not start out well in our bowl pick'em.
Now, the ESPN one.
You were not. You did
Oh
not
no,
start off too well.
the ESPN one we did.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Is it just you and
It's
I again?
no. It's me, you, me, you, Jack, Blaze, Cobbs, and it's the DBAB guys.
Oh, so everybody's in it. I didn't even realize that
Yes,
everybody's in it. Okay.
yeah, it's the DBAB guys,
Okay.
and I'm in another one that I could win some money off of. I'm
Okay.
in third place in that thing,
I
and
got
I'm mad at myself because my dumb butt changed it from
Oh.
Tennessee. I had Tennessee picked, and I
Hmm.
swapped to Iowa
Mm.
because I'm thinking, oh, okay,
Now you
first
should have
time
never
quarter,
gone Iowa because
dude. I don't know
can't
why,
they can't
dude.
score.
And I kept telling I said that 3 or 4 times that morning and going.
Yeah.
I was talking to my dad about the games, going, Dad, I think Tennessee
Look
because
at you.
Iowa cannot score.
Yeah.
They're awful offensively, and
Wow.
for some reason, I was
Yeah.
listening to like Game Day or something like that, and I'm listening to them thinking, you know what? They play good enough defense. I think they can do something.
No, no, no.
So
Here, so
I said, screw it. I'll be different. Maybe I can catch some people.
mhm.
Fuck. And the freaking Alabama game screwed me on that deal.
Yeah. Actually, you said so. This because this happened in the other bowl I pick 'em I did that's money involved. I actually started off really well in ours, but then hit a stretch
Oh,
that
like the
was
second weekend, third weekend?
yes. So like I'll even show it like let me
Was it the New
I'll pull
Mexico
it
State, Boise State?
like I'm gonna show you right now. This is the bowl
Was
pick'em I did. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna turn around and show you here. This is the bowl pick'em I did for money. Okay, so up until like that point, like so,
yeah,
there's red for losses. Everything else is green. So I'm starting
yeah,
off pretty well, right?
right.
And then I get into a streak.
Was it like Syracuse?
Look at all the. Oh,
Hey, was it like the Syracuse, Georgia Tech,
It
Arkansas
was
State, Troy,
yes.
Utah State, Air Force.
So here's the streak here of games right here. Look at all the red.
Oh, that's awful.
Yes, it was literally there was a it was at one point it was a 5 game streak of losses. Then I got Northwestern, and it was like out of a whole 10 game set, I won like 2, and then
Dude, that's rough, man.
yeah,
Then see, I'm with you. See, because I was doing pretty good. And then Syracuse got their butt kicked.
yes,
Arkansas State shouldn't have lost that game, but did.
yep,
Troy shouldn't have lost that game, but did.
yep. I
And
had
Utah
Troy.
State got their butt kicked. And I was listening to some college football show, and some guy goes, "Never pick against the academy team at the Armed Forces Bowl." I go,
Yeah,
"That makes sense." Air
yeah,
Force.
right. Yeah, for sure. Like I
Then
had that
freaking
bad streak.
Northwestern holding off against Utah.
Yep, I picked Northwestern.
I did too. Freaking Minnesota finally decided to play some offense against Bowling Green.
Yep, I picked
Screwed
Bowling
me.
Green.
I picked Tulane, and I picked freaking North Carolina and Louisville.
Yep,
Louisville getting their butt kicked.
yep. Those were 2 games that I forgot who
You
did North
know,
Carolina lost to. They lost to.
they got beat by West
They lost,
Virginia. They get
yeah.
their butt kicked by West Virginia.
Like I knew
Then
they didn't.
like
I knew they didn't. We're gonna have May, but I thought they would be better. But
then
just not.
see, I took the fandom out of it, and I'll say it. I picked Oklahoma State to win
I
because it's
picked.
for
Oh,
money.
I picked Oklahoma State too because
It's
of,
for
of
money, and I take my fandom out of it when it's about
well,
money.
well that too. But I was like, I also try to be. I tried to be somewhat smartish about my bowl picks and in incorporating the portal and opt outs and all this kind of stuff
Hmm.
to some of these picks.
See,
So like,
that's the thing I started doing. Like halfway through, I started looking at opt outs
yeah,
and like, are they losing a starting quarterback? Are
even
they starting a freshman
yeah,
at
even
quarterback?
coach changes too. Like because like the
The
I was
Duke,
yeah
freaking the Duke one's like, what the?
yeah
That's why I picked Troy.
yes. Because like even some of the earlier bowl games, you didn't necessarily have to worry about opt outs or portal guys or quarterback because they're like or not quarterback coaches because there wasn't really much going on there. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
but when you got to the bigger schools, like North Carolina didn't have May. I was really surprised how Louisville didn't look as good as they had
They
all season.
USC. I say decided to play defense. They still gave it 28, but they scored 42
Yeah,
without
but
Caleb Williams.
yeah, they look good. I was like, where? Like, it's kind of like when you watch that against Louisville, and you're just like,
It's like
where the
Rutgers. Where
like,
did the Rutgers game come from?
yeah, like don't get me started.
God, dude, I watched that game thinking, "Oh, Josh is about to punch a TV."
Well, like we were driving. Speaking of that game, we were driving. That was the day we drove. We were driving to Lubbock, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
the game
Y'all
starts. No, I'm
listening
watching.
to it?
I'm I am because like I don't want to bother them. The little one's watching stuff on her tablet. Brother-in-law, he's driving. Um, but he's also kind of one of the times that sometimes like he'll throw out comments, and I'm just like I'm gonna bite my tongue, whatever. But so I'm watching it, and of course Rutgers goes down first drive, scores. Miami doesn't do nothing. They're down 14-0 early, and then they go on a little run, and they go up 17-14 after first drive and second half. They score and make it
Mm-hmm.
17-14. You're like, all right, they got momentum. Let's keep this going. Kind of seen this story before. Maybe we can make it work. And then the punt block for a touchdown, and I was just like, all right, that's good. Game, it's fucking over. Like
Yeah.
all the momentum shifted right back to Rutgers, and then they couldn't stop the run. All the typical stuff. But I digress.
Um,
So,
the Clemson game had me freaking. I picked Clemson.
yep, that one had me back. That was one of the ones where like, I was watching it, and like I was just like rooting for Clemson to lose, and then when I checked my bowl pick'ems, I was just like, all right, I'm glad they won. you know.
Yeah. Then Ohio State, bro. I was going. That's the another one I was going back and forth with.
Which one's that one?
That's the one they were on their third string freshman
No,
quarterback,
but who were they playing?
Missouri. That was that 3-0 game until like
Oh, okay.
halfway through the third. It was a bad football game. Then
No?
I picked
Oh,
I picked Wyoming and LSU.
okay, I got you. So that was
Freaking oh man,
wait, who won that game? Ohio State or Missouri?
Ohio State. They got beat 14-3. Mizzou won.
Oh, okay. So I had it right.
Missouri won.
Yeah, okay, right. Because I had Missouri and then Ole Miss and then Auburn was to do. Georgia dominated,
God,
but like,
Auburn looks so bad,
oh, they were
and,
terrible.
and that
Oh,
was without Tagovailoa with that
yes. So
Talia.
I wanna take a couple seconds here, and I want to talk about the Georgia Florida State because it was all over social media before the game and after the game. And there was one
Ooh, ooh,
time
ooh, ooh,
I had
ooh.
I had retweeted a
Ooh.
tweet just for like laugh and giggles, and it was a little graphic that showed all the players out for both teams. I just said simply retweeting, and I had people somewhat blowing up my comments, upset, all this kind of stuff, and I'm just like, all right, like I get the argument from both sides. Like I understand Florida State's argument or their fans' argument of like, they got screwed. Uh, it proved that games don't matter. Da da
It
da. And I
was
can see the other side too. But like,
it was a shell of of their roster
yeah.
basically that was playing in that game.
But if I had to like say a take, whatever, on this, but like, yes, both teams had kids that opted out, and both teams had kids that entered the portal or were hurt. But when you go through and look, of course, the Florida State team had more starters that weren't playing compared to Georgia, right? And so what my thing was is like, why is that the case?
Well,
Why did Georgia not have the same type of, like why didn't many of their starters be like, you know what, fuck it, we got
can
screwed too out
I
of
have an
this.
opinion on this too.
But like when you think about it too, like Georgia had every right to do the same thing Florida State did
Hmm.
in terms of those kids opting out, hitting the portal, not playing, feeling sorry for themselves. But what they did was that they said, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna go handle this. Now, did they have kids enter the portal? Yeah, but when you go through and look at a lot of those kids that entered the portal for them, you had a couple of starters here and there, but there's a lot of kids that probably would have ended up
It's,
in the portal anyways.
it's a lot of depth, kids.
Yeah,
Um, ca- Again, and guess what? Last year, Florida State built a lot of that team off transfers.
right, absolutely,
And
and
don't be shocked when those kids say, "See ya."
yeah, and I understand when you got those kids in because that's how they were kind of built their team up was through the transfer
Well,
portal. And
Ole Miss is gonna be the same way this next year.
yes,
Ole
and
Miss is winning the transfer portal right
a-
now.
and I feel that is how the portal is going to work out. You're going to build depth, and all that stuff through recruiting, just like normal. But in terms of, it's kind of like NFL teams going through free agency, trying to load up to win a Super Bowl that year.
Yep,
It's going to
to
be the
make a
same.
run.
It's going to be the same thing with the portal. We're going to load up with all this talent, try to make our run into the playoffs. Now I feel like even more so with the playoffs expanding to 12, I feel like it's going to be a little bit more beneficial for this, and you're going to see a little bit more kids do this compared to when it was just a 14 playoff. But
Hmm.
in Florida State's case, all those kids, like Jared Verse and the two receivers and all this kind of stuff. Those are all transfer kids. So their main purpose was to come. They had a great season. They went undefeated. Yes, they
The
got
one,
screwed over.
the one
Right?
championship.
Yeah, they won their conference championship. They got screwed over. They didn't make it. So a lot of those kids were like, "Deuces, I'm out. There's nothing left for me to play for
And
or
and
risk." But
and that's I am pro player
right,
doing what's best, what the kid thinks is best for him. I'm pro that. But what the portal does, it really highlights the I'm going to get mine, and
hmm
once I'm done getting mine, I'm out.
yep,
And it's that selfishness of people, of those, you know, I'm going to get mine.
yep,
Well, once I get mine, I got no use for Florida State.
yep,
See ya.
yeah. And
Or
my thing
or
was how
you know,
and for s-
insert freaking Texas A&M. I got no
yeah.
more use for
So
you guys. See ya.
here's a couple things. A lot of people were just like, after the game, they were making like we didn't have our starters. It was a shell of ourselves. Da, da, da. I'm
Well,
like, but here's my thing too. Like, and I don't
coach
know, maybe
better.
this,
Fuck.
yeah,
Get
but
those
like,
guys ready to go.
well, that, but like, here's another thing too. Like, all right, so y'all were screwed over a spot in the playoffs that y'all deserved. Okay, based on being undefeated, being conference champs of a major Power Five conference, y'all got screwed over. Okay, and now you got placed with another team that got screwed out of a playoff spot, a Georgia team who back-to-back national champions. They're they have in 3 years they have one loss, right? You have a chance to put on and show everybody like, "Hey, y'all fucked up by not putting us in the playoffs, and we're going to go out there and beat Georgia's ass." Right? They could have easily done that, right? That could have been
Yep.
the story. Like, hey, we're going to all bundle up. We're going to play one more game together as a group, and we're going to go out there and we're going to show people that the committee fucked up, right? And we're going to go out there and we're going to beat Georgia. But what
Then
happened?
Georgia TCU'd them.
Yeah, and then what happened was instead of taking that approach with it, a bunch of Florida State guys said, "You know what? Just like you were saying earlier, they just cared about themselves. They said, "Fuck it, we didn't make the
I got
playoffs.
mine.
We're not gonna go play Georgia."
Which, and again, I get it, especially those guys going to the NFL draft. It is stupid to get hurt on a, let's just say it, it's a
Uh,
meaningless game,
I understand that, but at the same time too, like there's
and this
by
affects your NFL draft stock.
well, okay, I understand that, and every time I think about it, I always go back to Jalen Smith and now how it hurt his draft stock. But you know, on one side of the coin, he was still drafted and he had a still decent career as a Cowboys in the league and whatnot. But like it's not an automatic that if you play your bowl game, you're going to get hurt. Now, I know you're going to run the risk of it, but you also run that same risk of getting hurt anytime throughout the year. Like the kids
Yeah.
in even the kids in the playoffs. Like I know you're battling and fighting for a berth to go to
Well,
the national championship, but like you could still have the same risk getting hurt there.
the Washington running back.
Yeah,
Now, granted, he said he's going to play in the national championship game, but is he going to be 100%? Probably not.
yeah. Like and for me, like if you got one of those lower tier bowls, like I'm surprised. Like and again, I'll just talk about it, but like I'm surprised Miami didn't have more kids opt out or not want to play in the bowl game. You know what I mean? Uh, but they had majority of their guys. They had a couple kids that declared, a couple kids that were in the portal depth wise or whatever. But uh, I can understand it for the lower bowls if that makes sense. Like if you don't really have a good year, um, you don't want to play in the lower bowl. That's fine. But it's something like what was it the Peach Bowl? What I mean, it's a one of the bigger bowls that you can play in. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and again, when you think about it too, for a lot of those players, like if they're going to be leaving anyways, the bowls are mainly for the underclassmen and the school itself to kind of tout to kind of brag about. You know what I mean? Like at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, it doesn't really matter or mean nothing. But like Georgia, they can go back and be like, yeah, we finished the year 13-1. We were Peach Bowl champions. We beat Florida State 63-3. It's just
Well,
kind
yeah.
of like icing on the cake. Like it's just extra stuff to brag about.
I had a buddy of mine, and we were talking about this the other day about all the opt outs, all that stuff. He made a good point, and he heard something from another person who made the same point. He goes, do away with the bowls. If they want to treat them like NFL guys, make it like the NFL. The
Yeah,
guys who make the playoffs, y'all get to make the playoffs. The guys who don't make the playoffs, you got to start off season.
yeah,
You get rolling in the off season
yeah. Which
because like I'm a big fan of like watching UNLV. Like
yeah,
I'm watching the replay of UNLV and Kansas right now.
right. That was a good game.
I never seen the you talked about a couple years ago that go offense
Yeah,
of that guy what he implements,
yeah. I didn't really
and
see much
so
of it in that game
I
though.
didn't either, but I tuned into this game because I wanted to watch the go offense.
So
You
that was
know,
the same
I
reason I did too.
I wanted to watch I like watching like some of these lower bowls. Let's say lower bowls of just you have teams that both teams are playing really hard. It's like the what was one of them? It's like the Iowa State Memphis game. Both those teams played their freaking ass off.
Right.
The freaking the Oklahoma State A&M game. Granted, with all the opt outs, but A&M freaking played their freaking ass off and had a chance to damn win.
Right.
You know, um, watching, and get to watch teams you really don't normally watch. Like I can count on one hand how many South Alabama games I've seen this year,
Yeah.
and the only reason I've seen South Alabama before bowl week was because on YouTube TV, they were for some reason South Alabama was always one of the four games going on in the quad box.
Right.
For some reason, I don't know why, but South Alabama was always
Up there.
one of the teams in the quad box.
Yeah.
And so I watched a handful, and I say watched. I just kind of would glance at that game. I would watch one, but kind of glance at the other
Yeah.
three.
That's the one nice thing about the bowls. Like, I'll be honest, I don't watch every bowl, whatever, but like it does allow kind of exposure for some of those lesser schools to have some, media coverage on them, if you know what I mean. And
Mm-hmm.
some of those bowls are fun. Like this year, like the Pop Tart Bowl with the whole
That was
mascot and
so.
stuff.
the
You know, it,
Duke Mayo Bowl. They were
yeah,
freaking. The broadcasters were bringing up every sort of food they were making out of freaking mayonnaise.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like
That was so. I was
it's
out on that stuff, but
it's
it was funny.
silly. It's silly. It's dorkish, but it's ways that these sponsors can make these bowls interesting. Like you know how much like interest or like talk about there was after like the Pop Tart Bowl because of the mascot was a costume mascot and then it became an edible mascot. You know what I mean? Like it just
Mm-hmm.
makes it fun and unique, you know what I mean? But I've seen several different ways for them to try to fix it. Like one person proposed, a radical proposal was like make bowl games start the year. You know what I mean? So you end the year like, all right, Miami Rutgers, you're going to be in the Pinstripe Bowl, but you play that bowl to begin the next season, so you don't have to worry about opt outs and stuff like that. It's kind of like a preseason thing before the season, which I was
Oh,
like, all right,
okay.
it's not too bad. But then I've seen other people too be basically and of course others too, like, they're all what they talk about is just like, all right, just have a playoff system, get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to not have to worry about opt outs and all this kind of stuff, just look at what you do or what we do in the FCS level, Division 2, Division 3, and like all the other sports that we do, March
And
Madness, all this kind of stuff. They all go
hey,
into playoffs.
in the in that always reminds me of freaking Michael Leach. The Leach when before the playoff was a thing, he was calling for a playoff, and he always in a just a Leach sort of way saying, "Okay, let's look at high school. Let's look at like Texas. Let's do that. Oh, they do a playoff. They determine a champion through a bracket system. Okay, no, hey, no, we gotta go. Let's look at Division 3.
Hmm.
Oh, they do a playoff.
Yep.
Okay, let's go Division 2. What they do? Okay, hey, whoa. Let's do 1AA or FCS, where the hell we call it now. Look at that. They do a playoff. It works to find a champion. They do a freaking. I mean, just in the best leech way he could ever do it.
Right.
Basically saying, "Hey, you dumbasses,
Hmm.
a playoff system is the best way of doing this."
I agree.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember watching that and I was like, he was ahead of his time.
RIP to the pirate.
RIP for sure. But yeah,
But
I would agree. I think that would solve a lot of issues because
yeah, man.
I think even the 12 team playoff that they're going to next year is going to help um a lot in terms, especially like the bigger schools with opt outs and stuff like that. But because you're now adding 8 more teams to the fold. Now of course,
Well,
but
Think about this: how much money is ESPN making off of the bowls? How much money are those bowl games bringing in terms of commercial revenue?
Right.
Because yeah, think like the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, or let's go ahead, the Pinstripe Bowl, for
Right.
instance. How many people were in Yankee Stadium that day? It was freaking raining, pouring, torrential downpour. I bet that stadium was pretty empty for the most part. I
Yeah.
bet.
Probably
And
decent.
so they're not making money off ticket sales, obviously,
Right.
because most of those stadiums are halfway empty.
Yeah.
They're
Sure.
making money off the TV revenue and the commercial revenue.
Oh yeah. And I saw something on X the other day, or it might have been today or whatever, but like apparently the viewership of majority of the bowls this year has gone up.
I
Which
believe it.
is good. Like, and of course they throw out a bunch of different numbers. Like I think they said the Alabama and Michigan game was one of the top 10 all time most watched like
It
sporting
was
events or something like that.
27 million people
Yeah,
tuned into that game.
almost 28. Yeah.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So a bunch of people tuned into that one, obviously. There was
What
a,
I,
and then on Christmas Day, like I remember on Christmas Day, there were more people watching the bowl games on Christmas Day than there were watching the NBA games.
Good. That's how it should. No, it wasn't bowl games. It was NFL.
NFL, excuse me, NFL. Yeah,
But
you're right. You're
still
right.
good. I
Yeah,
mean,
it just
good.
shows you, like,
That's the power of
obviously,
football in this country.
yeah, absolutely, especially, but and also how those sports have operated the last 5 to 10 years and stuff they do or whatnot. But you know, uh,
You
turning
know,
people on and off.
yeah. And I just find it funny that the Christmas Day was supposed to be the big, that's a big deal for the NBA.
It was it usually it in the past it's been their holiday to have games, and then
Right.
recently the NFL has gotten into there, and it just NFL is just cleaned up.
Yeah. It was like an unspoken rule of
Yeah.
NFL. You have Thanksgiving, NBA will have Christmas. We'll go from there. Well, unlucky for NBA this year, I think Christmas landed on a Monday. Was that right?
Yes.
And so there was what, three NFL games on Christmas? There was a noon, there's a 3:30, and there was a
There
freaking
was
seven.
there was 3 NFL games, and there were, I think, 5 NBA games, and total the NFL games, like, dominated the 5 NBA games.
Oh yeah,
It was crazy, but
it's like that mid-season tournament they're trying to make important so
yeah,
people would watch. I mean, that's
right.
the only reason.
There's
You know,
so the thing about and I'm not gonna we won't talk about it here on the show, but, like, or get too much into it, but the reason why the sports like NFL and college football are way more entertaining to Americans, if you will, is has to do with stuff that occurs off the field, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, for the most part. Obviously, the product on the field is entertaining. Everybody loves their football. Uh, when football's on, you're gonna watch football over a basketball game because
yep.
the value of a football game is so much more than the value of a basketball game because there's 82 basketball games compared to what, 16 football games.
Hmm.
NFL and the college there's 12 to 14 if you include the playoff teams. You know what I mean? So uh, the value of a football game is so much more compared to even baseball. Like I'll admit, like I watch like last year watching the Yankees play. I watched I don't know m- max from beginning to end maybe 20 to 30 Yankee games.
Out of 162.
Yeah, and most of it, I just get updates on my phone or I watch a little bit here and there. Now I will watch a baseball game before I watch an NBA game.
So you watched 18% of the MLB season.
Yeah, and I have yet to watch a Miami Heat game from beginning to end.
I can tell you this: I've watched more Spurs basketball this year than I have in 7, 8 years, and that's just because of Wimby.
Yeah,
That's the only reason. And when they start getting their ass kicked, guess what I do?
fair enough.
I turn it off, and I may spend 2 or 3 minutes watching the Spurs and change the channel. Then go
Yeah,
watch like the Stars.
yeah.
You
Like,
know.
and most of the time, like I watch the Heat through my phone, like the ESPN stuff. Like,
Hmm.
but I'm not. I'm invested. I want them to win, but I don't want to go like
You
I'm.
want to spend time watching the Heat during the regular season,
Yeah, and then I'm not gonna like NFL. It's on there, and like you get to watch the NFL, and I'm okay with. I don't have to watch the Rams in person every week. Like I can watch them on my phone. Every once in a while, you get to see them on TV or a primetime game. Perfect. I don't
dude,
really go out of my way to try to get a NFL ticket to watch them every week, and I'm not going to do
bro.
that for the NBA.
I I spent money on NFL Sunday ticket this year. I'm kind of happy I did,
Mhm.
just so I could watch every Titans game.
Right.
You know, but this year's just been rough.
You know what
Holy
channel
crap!
I really like, and I watch it. I could
Red
watch it.
Zone.
Yep,
Yep. My dad.
I could
So
watch Red Zone all day.
the Fox station in Midland and DirecTV are butt heads. So DirecTV took Fox off of that area's. So he doesn't get Fox.
Mm.
Well, where the Cowboys play mostly
Mhm. Fox.
on Fox because the NFC
Right.
always plays on Fox, and so my dad's watched more freaking Texan games this year and the AFC games than he has NFC games.
Yeah.
But man, I'm with you. This year, freaking a, I decided to get NFL Sunday ticket, and honestly, I'll probably do it again,
Yeah.
just because I've watched more NFL this year than I have
Previously.
my whole
Yeah.
life. Sundays for me usually I would spend, but whenever we get done with work on Saturday till late watching college football.
Hmm.
And then NFL in previous years, I would the Monday night game or the Sunday night game, the Monday night game
Yeah.
would be really the only two games I would watch.
Yeah. Especially during the
But
season, because like we'd have some coaches that would try to put games on in the office while we're working. And for
mhm.
me, I don't like it because I get distracted by it. I know that sounds terrible, but like
Oh, and
it's
that's the
too much of a
truth.
distraction.
We had a coach in Hell Center. He would put on NASCAR.
Mm,
He said, it's just something different
right.
to watch than the freaking football.
Yeah.
So he would just put on NASCAR and watch NASCAR.
Yeah. I don't. That might work here, but yeah. Anyways, but like I was saying, obviously the value of it more and stuff, and then for baseball, what's nice is that I know somebody that has like that baseball pass stuff,
Hmm.
whatever it's called. So like I can pull it up on my phone and watch the games if I want to, or pull it up on the TV and stuff. So
Yeah, that's the thing though too. Like being a Yankees fan, the Yankees are going to be on network or on one of the networks because
yeah,
they're just a big name. The last few years, that's been nice about being an Astro fan. The last few years is the Stros have been on
yeah,
ESPN a lot just
yeah.
because they've been good and they're a draw. You know,
And that's
and
also
so.
a nice thing about the Yankees too is that they have that Yes Network. So like if you
Hmm.
get that, then you can watch them on that all the time.
Right.
But
Yeah,
like
man.
the I forgot what it's called. I'll look it up here for you. I
I know
don't
what you're
have
talking about. It's not League Pass because that's the NBA, but it's the MLB something. Hey, Scooby.
Scooby's. He's on my poo poo list today.
Hey, but how old is Scooby, by the way?
He's gonna be 8 this year, I believe.
When did he like chill out? Like, how old was he when he finally just kind of like
Uh,
chilled?
5 or 6 maybe.
Did he jump a lot when he was younger?
like jump on people. He's never really been like if when he was younger and he would come over, like he was more of just hyper all over the ground. Like he never really was big into. Maybe
Like
when he was a
nipping,
puppy, he was might have been like kind of like trying to jump onto you, like his front
like
feet.
doing like puppy biting stuff, and
Yeah, but the one so some of the rare good things that Scooby has done in his life is that one, he's never been big into chewing on stuff. You know
that
what I mean?
is good.
So
Yeah,
I've never had to worry about like shoes being chewed up or random things being chewed up. Uh, all that kind of stuff. He's always been so calm and docile. Like he's never really been aggressive or
which is really
anything
weird
like
for like German shepherds,
yeah,
because
and
usually German shepherds are like freaking like hyper ass.
yeah,
Let's go,
yeah. You know what I mean? He's
people.
yeah, he's probably the odd one of the breed. You know, uh,
Which
if
I
you
would
will.
take that.
Yeah,
I would
he's
take a
for the
docile
most
German
part,
shepherd.
he's probably again, some of it is probably due to training and stuff. Like he's smart somewhat, but he's also dumb. So, or he does dumb things. Um, he's housebroken for the most part. Every once in a while, he likes to really get me upset, including today. Um,
Is that why he's on your shit list still?
yeah, like so in my office room, like before, like for some reason the doors at this my place here, like the doors don't close properly. So like they shut, but they can be pushed open. They don't latch,
Right.
right?
They don't let. Yeah.
So I would leave, and of course he stays in the house, and I would
Who's
close the
watching them
doors,
when you're gone?
like gone, like when I leave out of town.
Yeah, like tomorrow.
Oh, I have a dog sitter coming over that's gonna come
Oh, good.
watch stuff. But sometimes I'll take it to my sister's and like kind of we just go together on a pet sit pet sitter if we're
Okay.
both going somewhere. Excuse me. But when I'm here, like so anyways, I would shut the doors. This was early on when I first got here. Have the doors shut and stuff, and he's had a couple accidents and they're downstairs. Well, downstairs is all like tile hardwood. I'm like, okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. Like, yeah, it's upsetting, but it's easy to clean and stuff like that. Um, but up like the stairs and upstairs is all carpet, right? So I've always kind of been like, if anything, just do it downstairs. Yeah, I'm gonna be upset, but easily cleanable, all this kind of stuff, right? Well, he's been able he figured out that he can use his big old noggin to push this door open, I guess. Right? And he came over here and right over here in this little spot and he's gone to the bathroom a couple times over here. Like he has shit in this room a couple times and he's pissed in this room a couple times, which really gets me upset because it's carpet. You know what I mean? And so I had to go through and buy a carpet cleaner and I've hit this room X amount of times to the point where it's good enough. You know what I mean? Uh, and he's been pretty good about it. I don't know what triggers it sometimes, whether it's he's had too much to drink or whatever the case may be, or if he's just an asshole, he just does it. Uh, but today he decided. So I've been putting up. So my I can't show you right now, but to help block him from coming into this room and
I
going
think
to it,
you told me like,
I,
but you barricade like the stairs.
I tried to do that. He found a way up. I didn't barricade it well enough. I've been wanting to get one of those little baby cages things, but I haven't gone through with it yet. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so I figured out what worked really good was I just put my vacuum cleaner and my carpet cleaner right in front of the door. And he never tried to go through that. So, um, but then today, of course, he's always in my bedroom. And I always kind of felt like, okay, he's always in there sleeping, da da da. Like he wouldn't go in there. Like this is his place of sleep. He wouldn't go in there. Well, today, I come back home after going to some stores and doing stuff. Not out. I'm not out long, right? I'm out maybe a couple hours
Yes.
today, and I get
Pokes his
home and
head.
I go home and every time I walk through my door, sometimes I always feel like there's a strange smell, and it just happens to be me because like when my sister and other guests come over, you know what I mean? Like they don't ever like I'm like, does this smell? And they're like, no, it smells good, and I'm just like, all right, I like maybe I'm just so I have PTSD about like walking in and seeing shit on the floor or piss on the floor that I can just have it naturally. It just It's what I smell. Like, you know what I mean? So I
Mm-hmm.
walk in today and I just smell and I'm like, you know, smells like shit. You know what I mean? He's already outside. I kind of can tell when he knows that he's done wrong based on how he acts, but didn't really notice anything different. I was like, all right, like don't smell. It smells like it, but I don't see anything. Sprayed the stuff around. All right, cool. We're going. Walk upstairs, go into my room, and just boom, right in the face. I just smells pee or piss, and I'm just like, the door to the my office here is closed, obviously, and I'm just like, this motherfucker pissed in the room, and it's right by the door, like along the wall and the door, like not. I don't have to walk through it, but I'm just like, this motherfucker pissed in the room.
About to kill Scooby.
So I'm just like, of course I'm talking out loud, like, motherfucker, like, how could you
God,
do? And of course I'm like
God damn
somewhat
it,
yelling and all this stuff,
damn
and
it, Scooby!
he's downstairs quivering somewhere. I know he's quivering. I'm just going off. Like,
You're about
I,
to
r-
kill him.
I really want to go downstairs and whoop his ass. But I just say a bunch of mean stuff. I know he's down there shaking. I'm just like, and at one point I'm just like, why can't you just go downstairs, piss downstairs, or take a shit downstairs? It's okay. I'll clean it up. It's gonna smell, but it'll go away. But it's a lot easier to clean up compared to in the carpet. And so that's how it is. He won't go downstairs, but he'll go upstairs. It
Uh,
pisses me off. And the thing about carpet is like I don't think you can ever get that stuff out or that smell out for them. You know what I mean? So like once they do it, no matter how many times I hit it with the carpet cleaner,
mm,
he is still gonna be able to like smell it.
right. I was just curious.
Yeah. So hopefully
It's
this
just
gets to the point where I gotta repay for all carpet or whatever. So
yeah, that would suck. That
we'll see.
would suck.
So,
Tell you,
one
man.
of my favorite things I tell Scooby, and this is all a joke. I would never do it. I love him too much to actually do this, but like every time he does something like this, I'm like, man, I should just take you outside and fucking shoot
Whoa,
you.
whoa.
You know what I mean? Or some other type of really vulgar comment. But here's the thing. I
Here,
do own a gun. I have no ammunition for it. So
here, what's
but
your cat's name? Smokey.
yes, Smokey's chill. Like
Here's
Smokey
the
is
thing, though. Here's I'm convinced of this now because I'm not a big cat person. I bet Smokey goes up to Scooby and goes, "Do it." He's like the little. He's like the devil on his shoulder going,
yeah.
"Do it, do it."
It's funny though, because like when I get on this
I don't want to. No,
when I
do it.
always
He won't get mad at you. Do it.
yeah, like the cat knows when he's getting onto because like I'll yell at him and he'll run away like his little scaredy cat. Just like Scooby runs away. But like when I'm getting onto Scooby, and like today, like I'm upstairs, Scooby's downstairs quivering on his dog bed downstairs, whatever, and I'm like going off, cleaning the carpet. Smokey's laying on the bed, just chilling.
He is enjoying every moment of this.
Oh, yeah, he's enjoying everything. For the most part, he does no wrong except when he wants to try to tear up the carpet with his nails.
Yeah, we were me and Lex were talking about. So she got a dog over the break.
Ooh, what kind of dog does she get?
German Shepherd,
All
female,
right, very nice.
hyper, super hyper.
Oh, it's puppies are hybrid, yeah.
No, she's 4 years old, almost 5.
Oh,
So she's out of the puppy stage, but so
is
it's
she
just
full
going to take a
grown?
look. She's it was just one of those things where uh she kind of took it over because her parents just weren't didn't have time. Does that make sense? And it wasn't really good for the dog, so she goes, I'll do it. I'll take it. I'll take her. So she flew to Corpus, drove back with the puppy, with the dog, and freaking hyper. God dang, and me and her talking, and all it is just she just needs to be trained. That's all it
Right,
is. I mean, it's just and German shepherds are smart, and once they figure out where the boundaries are, they're smart not to cross them. and so she's just kind of figuring out. This is day 5 or 6 here, and so
Right.
she's just this is the most amount of room she's ever had in her life. So it'll be good. Like
Yeah, like
it'll be good. She's a good dog, pretty dog, pretty. God, she's pretty. She's just hyper right now.
long
Like
hair
super.
or like a regular German Shepherd.
Regular short hair, short hair female. Just like she. I need to send her picture of her to you. Real pretty. Like she's a pretty dog. But Alexis was talking about next dog we get. I just want a chill dog.
Yeah. Well,
I
eventually, what's the name of your dog?
Rain,
Rain. Eventually, Rain will like she'll calm down.
chill.
Like
Yeah, and
just
that's
let
and
her like
that's
if you have like an area that's fenced in for her to just go run around and just chase stuff like
that's the thing though.
that helps.
She lives in a Alexis lives in an apartment,
Yeah, but does
so
her
she
apartment have
doesn't.
like a dog park or anything?
Yeah, they do, and she takes her there and lets
That
her
helps
kind
a
of
lot.
run.
But
Yeah, and
like, cause like Scooby, like when I first had him living at my mom's house, like she had a big backyard, so he just was out there all the time. And then when I moved to Lubbock in the apartment, I would take him on walks, and then
hmm
uh, Port
yeah, and
Isabel and Port Isabel, like when I lived for a year with Coach Strong, he already had 4 dogs, so it was like 5 dog chaos all the time. And
right.
then in Sealy, he had a big yard that he was able to roam around and kind of run around. And but it was after kind of another thing too, which kind of I think now that I think more about it was after he got his cojones cut is when he's kind of started to simmer down more.
Well, she's going to get spaded next month or two.
Yeah, I think
Alexa's
that
going to spade her.
I think that should help.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where she just needs to be trained a little
Yeah,
better.
right.
Like she's trained, but not like a German Shepherd needs. Those things need to be like you gotta stimulate their mind, and
Mhm.
because they will tear stuff up if they're bored.
Oh
But
yeah,
anyway, Alexis goes, well, I just want a dog that's just chill. I jokingly, she does not like the way bulldogs look.
yeah,
I freaking love bulldogs. I go, she doesn't like mastiffs. I love mastiffs.
right.
She doesn't like the drool. She doesn't like the drool. She doesn't want the drool monsters.
Yeah,
And I told her, said the chill dogs are those drool monsters. No, I don't want to deal with that. So okay. So what about a Great Dane? She looked at me and goes, no, drool. I said golden
yeah,
retriever. Too much energy. Well, fuck.
yeah,
I go,
yeah,
Alexis, we can't have it both ways, girl,
yeah,
babe. It's you either get hyper, no drool, or lazy and drool.
yes,
That's the two extremes we live in here. I'm a fan, like again, I'm a fan of a Great Dane or a bulldog.
oh yeah,
I think bulldogs are freaking awesome.
yeah,
But I told her, said we got to be ready if we're gonna get bulldog guy for medical bills because they
yes.
will go to the freaking vet like a son gun.
Yep, I know that firsthand with family
What
I live
was
with. That
Strunk's? What was Strunk's bulldog's name?
Yogi,
Yogi.
yeah,
Is he still alive?
yeah, yeah. They have all their dogs except one. Soho, she's passed. She was the only female of the group, but she was the sweetest one of them.
Yeah.
Like besides Yogi, I think all their other dogs were like adopted dogs. So like
Mm-hmm.
from their time in Lubbock. So
Right.
great group of mix of dogs, all chaotic. You know, what I mean,
Yeah.
like it's just
And
I
Yogi's
I
just
don't.
chilling, right?
Yeah, they're
Yogi just chills.
oh he's chill, but when he gets riled up, he's pretty funny. But like their household, like I lived with for a year and I was always over there and stuff. But like it just was chaotic at times, and they just lived within the chaotic world. You get used to it after a while with the dogs and stuff, but like uh, it just makes you realize like how much pets can have an influence on you and stuff. And
Oh yeah,
positive,
100%. That's the other day. It was Alexa's first day back at work, and it was first day having to leave Rain at the house. And she goes, I didn't want to leave Rain today.
mm-hmm.
I go, it's just part of it. It'd be fine.
Yeah, it's part of it. Like I'm sure
So,
she crates her, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
That
and so
that brings a peace of mind because, you know, depending on if they're crate trained or not, you know, my thing was like when you're begin the crate training process of like the crying of it. Like I hate that part. Like makes me cave on the crying part. But but once you get
yeah,
them crated and they understand it, it's good. You know what I mean? Like my sister's dog
hmm
now, she's really good about that stuff, whatever. But like,
dude, I don't know, I want a big dog like English Mastiff, Bull Mastiff, Great Dane.
right?
Like I want those dang things you can freaking that are. I love like big dogs, and
Something
most of
that's
those
gonna look
dogs are,
scary.
huh?
Something that's gonna look scary.
Well, it looks scary, but they're just big old freaking lap
Right.
dogs, basically.
Yeah.
Like, you ever been around like a Great Dane or a Mastiff?
Oh, my
They-
cousin used to have a Great Dane, and that thing always wanted to get in your lap.
right, and you're sitting down, and it just all 100 pounds of it just goes boom, and
100 pounds, like
just
150.
just lays on you, going,
hmm
"We chilling
Yeah,
here now."
yeah. I've
And
had like
that deep bark it has, that
yeah,
whoop.
yep. Like I've had cousins that had the Great Danes, pit bulls. One of the
Do
sweetest pit
Danes
bulls.
drool?
Yeah,
Danes drool a lot.
I
Yeah,
think
they
so.
do,
Yeah,
don't they?
yeah.
I'm telling you,
Well, because like they have their lips are just hanging over.
yeah,
And
I
I'm like,
just
oh, yeah. It's such a nice dog, though.
they
Of
are
course,
huge.
yeah, they're pretty big, and like Scooby's pretty big for his breed. And you know, fucking love that dog to death, even though he does stuff that pisses me off. But um, you know, he's the thing about Scooby. Why he and I have such an emotional attachment to each other is because like uh, I got him when he was 6 weeks old. You know what I mean? And we have been
Right.
together since then. You know what I mean? There was a brief time where he had to stay with a friend of mine because of like a living arrangements. But like he and I have been through going down to PI, going to Sealy, and then now here, and just
Mm-hmm.
he's you know $400 well spent. You know what I mean? So uh, just kind of been a blessing and a curse. I also had a female at one point. Um, like when I first had Scooby, I also got a female German Shepherd, and she was like the long haired German Shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely beautiful. And she was, Scooby at that time was all over the place. She was like a year older than him, give or take. But she was so calm and docile and loving and cuddly. And, I tried to, when I first got them together, it was just like I wanted to breed them and sell puppies and stuff like that. And,
That was the master plan.
yeah. And, because they're both pure breeds, you know what I mean? So, like, uh, sell them, you can make money off, da da da. And then, of course, like I said, when living arrangements changed, Scooby had to go somewhere and she had to go somewhere. And then the place where she ended up was so good. And, I got Scooby back, but it was kind of get hard to get her back. I was just like, the person that she was with, I was just like, this is hard for me, but she's in a good spot. She's treated. She's loved. Da da da. Like I'm gonna,
Keep her.
yeah, keep her. You can have her. You know what I mean? Like it sucked. You know what I mean? Because
Oh yeah.
if I can go back in time, I would give up Scooby over her. But with everything I know now, but I wish I could have kept her and kept both of them. But it is what it is. He was a great dog. But Scooby's been good. You know what I mean? Scooby's just a klutz. So
Yeah.
he's just a
Yeah,
big old
man.
dum dum.
Yes, sir.
And of course, now I got the cat to top it all off, and at least he's a cuddly cat. So that's nice. Like he's laying right
True.
here at my feet. Like every time I come in this office, like every time we do a show and I leave the door open, he'll come in here and lay down. He lays right underneath the chair or right by my feet. So he's just chilling,
Heck yeah.
chilling cat. He's ready for us to like lay down and all that
Go to
good.
bed.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been? You haven't been on Xbox very much, have you?
Now,
Fair enough.
I've been wanting to kind of get back into the swing of like playing Call of Duty, like Warzone and all the other stuff. There's a new game coming out soon. It's called Skull and Bones that really has my
I saw
attention.
that. That I'm with you. That one's kind of like got me going.
Yeah,
Hmm.
there's a couple of 'em that I was like, all right, I want to get that and play it because the last game I played was the Cyberpunk 2077.
Hmm.
Great game. I had all the issues with the bugs and stuff, so I waited about a year and a half or whenever it came out and got it and played it. And I was just like, it's like one of those games I spent like, if I could have spent 100 hours, I did. You know what I mean? Like it was just
Yeah,
that much of enjoyment and stuff. But once I beat it and kind of did everything, then that was the last time I've really messed with my
dude.
system that I have. I've turned it on maybe 2 or 3 times over the last year, and now it's just to
Hmm.
turn it on. And what I do is I'll turn it on, go to Game Pass, see what's there, get distracted with something, and then turn it off. But because Call of Duty always has updates.
Oh my gosh, I downloaded the new one. I played it for
Yeah,
I played it for a little bit.
like the Warzone and stuff.
Yeah, and it was okay. I mean,
I just for
I've I've played a crap ton. I mean, a crap ton of Fortnite.
feel like I feel like so like of course being around the kids at school and stuff like that, but like a couple of things. So like Call of Duty, like one thing that the new one that came out, like the one thing that really kind of was like I wanted to buy it, but I've been kind of hesitant to buy it. Is I've heard so many bad things about the campaign, which I know for the
Yeah,
most part, like they
I
it's
don't.
not their main breadwinner. You know what I mean? But like I at
Mhm.
least want a decent, good campaign before I get into the multiplayer. And then I've heard nothing but negativity and how short it is, da da da. So it's kind of scared me away.
Right.
And then too, like our group, we used to play all the time, and but
During
it's like,
COVID, bro, it was
yeah,
that was the get on get on Warzone, go to Verdansk and
yeah. Well,
shoot
I think
people.
what was before? No, is the it was COVID that did that, and then the winter freeze, and then basically the
Well,
off season.
I missed the winter freeze because I was on the 18-hour no
Yeah,
power,
yeah. But in
the
general, but like,
6 hour power,
but for
and I missed all that. The
yeah,
I
but
missed all the
yeah,
that
overall
stuff.
for us though, like I'm saying, like overall, like with COVID, with the winter freeze, and then of course just like normal off season or whatnot. Speaking of Scooby, say hello. Um,
See, rain is sorry, going back to rain is mostly that brindle color with a little bit of the black.
Scooby's
She's
mainly
she's
just
almost like opposite of Scooby in terms of color.
yeah, and then I'm get ready for it, but that dog is gonna shed
Oh yeah,
like no other. Like I have a little pet vacuum stuff that every once in a while I hit Scooby on, and I try and I try of just going
to
back and
keep
forth
up.
and going, but like I did it, and then like of course the other day he had to get in the truck to take to my sister's house, and of
Hmm.
course I put stuff up like, and it's just like he gets out of the car when we get there, and it's just hair everywhere, and I'm just like,
What
what? Where is this
Scooby?
coming from? Why?
Right,
Why
right.
is there
Anyway,
so much hair? But anyways,
right.
yeah,
Warzone. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, the game stuff. I mean, obviously we had so much fun in doing it. We played it all the time, knew everything about it, all that stuff, and then like
yeah.
we didn't play it for a while. They came out with updates, new maps. And I just feel like, of course, if we got back into the niche of it, eventually we would get like we would understand stuff and all that whatnot. But it's just I feel like so much
So,
has changed.
uh, excuse me. I played the new one for a game for a plunder game,
Yeah,
and
calm down, calm.
it's not bad. Gunplay's not bad.
Yeah,
It's not horrible. It's just I don't know. It's
yeah,
when you're playing by yourself and don't have the boys there.
yeah.
It's
Maybe we can get that. Maybe like with this, like I know Jack's got powerlifting and softball
yeah.
and Cobb's got baseball coming up, whatever. But like we have a little bit more free time now that maybe we can get back into the swing of that. I wouldn't mind getting back into the swing of that. Just kind of something to do, and other
Yeah.
means of communication to keep up with
I
you guys and have fun and stuff. So
well, freaking the other day, me, Cody, and two of Cody's buddies played some Fortnite, for a couple of games, and that was fun.
yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Where you weren't there.
Well, it might have been Lubbock.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting back into it, especially now. Like like I said, like not having a winter sport, I'm gonna have a little bit more time. So like I want to kind of dive in more of of football stuff and all that, whatever. But like obviously there's gonna be time to. I like to. I'm not the type of person, and it might be the reason why where I'm at in my career and probably where I'll continue to be in my career. But like I'm not a true like I'm a football junkie and I love it, but like other people like they live and breathe it, which is perfectly fine for them. But like I'm the type of person that like I can't live it and breathe it because I'm gonna get to the point where I want to know everything and I can't, and it's gonna piss me off. But like I try to just take it in chunks. You know what I mean? Like here and there, and then there's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
times where I'm just gonna need to just get away from it and kind of just let my mind just wander. If that makes sense. So like kind of escape, if you will, because I don't know. Maybe that's just me and how I work or whatever. But like uh, like I could come in this room for several hours and do football stuff, and then it gets to the point where it's just kind of like it's just like during the season, like you get up there Saturday or Sunday and you start doing stuff, and you just hit that point where you just got mush brain. You know what I mean? Of
Right.
all right,
And
I'm just
I've
gonna
done
go.
I've done that too, where you work, you spend football week, then Saturday gets, and you get done with football on Saturday, and like I really don't want to watch football.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
I I rather, I watch a couple of big games. I watch A&M and whatever the big game is on Saturday, and I may not watch another game after that.
right. I agree.
You know, and so,
And also
but yeah,
too, like
man.
I like that escape. You know what I mean? Like if we were to like say over the course of this off season, like not every day, but like every a couple times a week, just to kind of like escape reality, if you will, and just kind of like log in and then play a game and just kind of have fun and whatever. I think that's just part of our makeup, for this generation. This is how it is, whatever. But like kind of
Yeah,
one of our escapes, whatever. But to have fun and
I I have freaking I've gotten into the last day or two. I've watched a lot of Dragon
interesting,
Ball, Dragon Ball Super. I mean,
yeah,
I've
interesting,
like it's been going through my TikTok, and I go, you know
yeah,
what? Screw it. So I found it on a it's called Funimation,
yeah,
and I signed up for it, canceled, got the 2 week free trial,
yeah,
canceled it as soon as I signed up,
right.
and
Just been watching it.
freaking I've been watching the crap out of it.
That's yeah. I remember when it
Yeah.
first came out was, and then kind of like lost interest in that series overall. But
Mm-hmm.
for me, like right now, like the two big shows that I'm looking forward to and watching every week is like one is called Monarch Legacy of Monsters, so it's all about like Godzilla and all that kind of stuff. Which
Okay.
for me, like that stuff
What
that I'm
what's
interested
that
in,
on?
Apple TV.
Okay.
So like, but for me, like you have your interest in Dragon Ball and all this kind of stuff, and but like my interest is in stuff like that. So like when that came out, I
Hey
was like,
Josh,
ooh, yeah,
Reacher.
that that was where I was going next. The other show I
Bro.
have is on
Okay.
Amazon, is Reacher, which is a
Real
fantastic fucking show. If you haven't
real
seen
quick.
it, go to
Real
Amazon
quick.
Prime, watch Reacher. Yeah,
Real quick. If you have not watched Reacher, shut your ears for the next
yeah. Spoiler alert.
20 minutes.
Yeah, spoiler alert on Reacher here.
Where me and Josh are about to get just kind of briefly talk about episodes 1
Yeah,
through 5.
I hold that thought. Let me go. Let Scooby out real quick.
Okay. So
He already came in here crying.
I got you. But yes, folks, Reacher, highly recommend it. It's on Amazon Prime. It has Alan Richmond, plays this former Army military police officer investigator. Um, this is season 2 right now, and it's really good. Season 1 was really really good, and season 2 is I've thoroughly enjoyed Reacher. Um, you know, been watching a little Reacher, trying to catch up on all the Marvel stuff. Um, trying to kill some time while Josh is taking Scooby out. But yeah, folks, I would highly recommend, highly recommend Reacher to you folks. Trying to think what else what we've been watching. Um, Want to go see The Beekeeper? That's coming out in 1 or 2 weeks. That looks really good with Jason Statham. I think that's gonna be a pretty good little movie. Started watching the John Wick series. So watched John Wick 1 today. Haven't seen it in a few years, and forget how good that freaking movie is. He's such a good character, and Keanu Reeves does such a good job of playing that character.
All right, so
Hello,
let the
John.
people. Do you let the people know about Reacher or what?
I did. Then I went off on. I started watching John Wick.
Oh, what a great show! Before we get to
Dude,
that one, before we get to the Wick, because Wick's great. I'm sure Cletus
Reacher.
mentioned a lot of good stuff about Reacher. It's a great show. Great cast. If I could be reincarnated to look like anybody, I want to look
At,
like Alan Richardson. He's a
big dude.
magnificent
He's a big
specimen
dude.
of a human being. Big
Did,
dude.
did you see what he was like 205, I guess season 1 of Reacher?
He doesn't look
And they
205.
well, no, season 1. Then they wanted to get him up to like 230. Or maybe it was
He's looked.
he was
He's
2
always. He's looked
he was
big in most series.
205. He was 205 when he got the role, and they needed to get him up to 230.
That makes more sense because I think now, obviously, I have to go back and watch season one, but he's obviously looked this. He just looks like a
Well,
man
he
amongst
was
boys.
Thad.
You know what I
He's
mean?
Thad
Yeah,
Castle at Blue Mountain State. That's such a good show too, Blue
yeah,
Mountain
great.
State.
But he's a lot bigger in the Reacher series than he is in
Oh
that.
my gosh! And
But it's
so
a
he,
great show.
oh my gosh!
Um, the way they
You,
do
you
stuff.
watch season 1?
Yes, the
Okay, what do you think?
story.
What do you think of it compared to season 1? Better or worse?
Uh,
Or is it as good or
yeah, I would say it's good. Obviously, I'm not gonna say it's worse than season one. I think they're both great shows in terms of how they are written, in terms of the suspense building up,
I
the trying to figure
I
out
like
who done it type
yes,
stuff.
that's the biggest one is I like the action, but I also like the who done it part of Reacher because
Right.
it's making you think, okay, I think this guy's it.
Yeah.
Then he goes, nah, this is what we want you to think.
Yeah.
Here's what's going on here.
Yeah.
And I like how very calculated Reacher is on everything.
Yes. Obviously him and his whole team, like the difference obviously between season one and season two was like season one, obviously he had help, but it was mainly like him. You know what I mean? Like he had help from a local
Right.
cop and a detective, but now in the season two, like it's his team, it's his unit. You know what I mean? So like they're more like minded people to him. So it's a little bit more sophisticated and calculated in terms of what they're doing and how they formulate their ideas and how they do stuff. And it's just it kind of gives you a different look at it, which for me it's really good and interesting. I always like it. I like the backstory of their group. You know what I mean?
What I'm curious, whatever happened to the old man? Because
He was
he's the only one.
he was the one. So I had kind of had the thought too, and I was trying to piece it together without like necessarily looking it up, if you will. But like he was the one that passed away that he didn't go to his funeral.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Because
sense now.
when you think about it, like if he takes that role, then all the other people of that group, you know, up to where they are now, are the ones that have been found deceased. except the one
Yes.
that's in bed with the bad guys.
Yeah. You think he is?
I don't know. I
Or do
just
you think he's so deep undercover that he has to
I don't know. It's
do what he's doing right now
yeah,
to keep his cover?
it's kind of pulling you in two different directions. One, he's a good
That's
guy in a bad spot, or he's a good guy like way in too deep, and he's trying to like get himself out. Whatever. Or two, he actually will be a bad
he's
guy when
he's
we want him
gone
to be
dirty.
good. Yeah, like they're kind of setting it up both ways. You know what I mean? Like obviously
Yeah.
the show is making him look like to be the bad guy, but
But that's what Reacher does. It goes, hey, we're over here. Not really,
yeah,
we're over here.
yeah.
It
So
makes
like
you look here when
but
everything else is going
it
on.
keeps bringing up the point of like, it keeps all this evidence and people were having their assumptions
Well,
about
well,
him
it's
being the
like
bad guy, and
the
then Reacher still has that gut feeling of that he's not. You know what I mean?
well,
So,
it's the what's it? The cocaine, the or the heroin bricks they busted
oh, the last
on
episode,
on the flashback.
uh, cocaine.
The cocaine, the 47 bricks and the 48th brick was
Yeah,
in
then,
his car.
yeah,
Accidentally
yeah.
after
That's what I'm saying. Like
he's
this,
complaining about the drug dealers are making more money than all their pensions put together.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the way the show is being written at the moment, not saying like how it is overall, but how it's being portrayed at the moment, all signs were pointing to him being a bad guy. You know what I mean? Which it's
Right.
either going to be the case or it's going to not be the case, which I know that's pretty it's either this, that, or this, but, like, I just feel like it's too obvious that the signs are all pointing to him being a true bad guy in the show.
What? AM is a badass. I want to see him and Reacher go at it.
Yes. I had to think about it for a second when you said AM, but I was like, yeah. The guy that literally leaves nobody alive in his wake,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Do you like comic books? I like comic books. Why? Because the good guy always wins.
Yeah, he's been a great character. I'm
As he
interested to
as he
see.
goes, what that?
Yeah. So, yeah, some poor people unfortunately sometimes get the not good end of his wrath, but like I'm interested to see where the final story takes because like each episode kind of gives you a little bit of the piece of the puzzle to figure
Mm-hmm.
out. You know what I mean? The last couple episodes have given us big pieces of the puzzle and more of the story to kind of figure out. But like I'm ready for it to all tie together to make sense. Just like the first season. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How the first season tied it all together and made it come out good and stuff like that. But
I did like they called Finley back.
yep,
I did like that.
yep, I like
That
that one. That was pretty cool.
so what about my testimony? Am I going to get charged thrown in? He goes, I don't know. I'm not a cop.
Yeah. I
Oh,
just
it's
so the only thing I was like when it started, like, because it doesn't necessarily give you a timeline compared to when season one ends and season two begins, right? It just shows him. It shows Reacher doing his Reacher stuff, just
mm-hmm.
being a wanderer and getting the
so
message.
so
Which
I was.
first message,
Oh, sorry.
first
Go on.
episode. I was gonna say the first episode was great when he got the guy to the car and stuff
Are you getting carjacked?
like
Stay here.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
boom.
Great part.
Break is oh, dude. It's so I kind of nerded out and I looked up a podcast that talks about Reacher.
Ah,
And so I'm 3 episodes in. I've listened to every review or every reaction, and
yeah,
apparently the season one is like so. This is like a 20 some odd book series
yeah,
for for it's a they're Tom Clancy novels,
right.
and so this is like a 20 some odd book series. Apparently, season one was like book like 5 or 6.
Hmm.
This is like book like 13 or 14,
Oh wow.
and so
I wonder how, because it's a very popular show. I wonder how long they're going to continue with it. If there's a lot of material and the show continues to be a success, I can see it going for a while. But I wonder how long they decide to go.
the who is here's my who's your favorite new character?
That's a great question.
I got mine.
I like the cop. they deal with.
Yes, Russo.
Yes,
Yes.
because
Oh,
he's been in some other shows. You know what I mean? But
was he King of Tulsa? Was he the son in King of Tulsa or Tulsa King? The mob
yes,
son? Was
yeah.
he
I think he is. Is he the Mob King's son or the Mob son? I think he is. Yeah,
in Tulsa King?
yeah, yep.
He's such a good actor. He
Yes,
does such a good job.
but he fits that role really well of being a New York cop or detective. You know what I mean?
I,
Like the
it was a
accent.
fair it was a fair fight. I'll kick your ass.
Yeah.
Well, let's go. Let's dance then.
Yes.
I still owe
Oh,
you that. I still owe you that fight.
yes. So like the last episode, the one thing that I kind of thought was kind of comical and silly, but like was the scene at the funeral, the end of it when they were getting shot at by the two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Just that whole sequence, and then the one guy getting killed, and then he's like, "Other was like, oh, fucking, I'm out."
This is supposed to be a car chase. Go faster. You
Well,
want to drive?
that
You want
was
to
funny.
drive?
That part
Yes.
was funny, but like I'm just talking about the two snipers. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
how terrible of a shot they were, and they're
Oh
supposed
my
to be
god.
hired hitmen,
Yes.
and then once the one guy got killed, the other guy's like, "Fucking, I'm out of here." It's like,
Right. Even though he has position.
yeah, that
He has
part,
the
like that whole thing
position.
was a little
Like,
silly for them, but overall, it's
oh,
been great. I can't wait to see how it finishes.
the bad guy Langston
Yeah,
Reacher didn't go as what you planned. What do you
yeah,
want? Throw you out of a helicopter.
that's been the best line so far. It's been the
What I
best.
appreciate about Reacher is like the things me and you like think. He
Yeah.
just says he vocalizes his thoughts,
Yes. Yeah, he
and
has no shit about it.
it is very like cut and dry to the point. He doesn't mince words.
No. But you also think about it too, like he's kind of a weird person. Like when he's
He's
not
like
like
a
when he's not solving a case, like he's
mhm.
just wandering around the United States just
He's an
sleeping in
introvert.
sleeping in random places, uh
What do you
walking
say?
everywhere.
Sometimes I get rides from strangers. Sometimes I share a meal with them.
Yep.
Most times in the diner.
Yep. This is just a unique character, but it's been like I said, been a great show. Um
Oh, what's another?
those are the only two ones I watch right now, and like
Well, I think the best line, y'all don't do cowboy shit. Let us do this right. What's playing, boss? We're about to do some cowboy shit.
yeah,
A pipe bomb?
yeah, that was a great scene too.
Oh, that was
He's like,
awesome.
you let off a fucking pipe bomb.
In the middle of Queens.
Yeah, that's been great. That's been great.
Oh god, Reacher is
I just the
it's
only
so
thing that
good.
sucks about it was like it's like the same with the Legacy of Monarch. Like they both when they first came out dropped a couple of episodes like right off the bat, so
Hmm.
you're able to watch it, and then now you're at the point where you got to wait for Fridays to come, and it's just like
Is Reacher on
it's
Fridays?
yeah, they're well, both the shows I watch are both on Fridays, but like it's good because it kind of like if they all like some of those TV shows where they just let everything out at once, you just binge watch it through and you're done in a short
Hmm.
amount of time, and you got to wait forever for the next season if one comes out. So when they do it like this, at least they kind of spread it
Build
out,
it.
build
But
it
think about
up.
this: we're about to be episode 6, so we have 6, 7. We have 3 episodes, 2 episodes left.
Is it only 8?
Of it's 8. It's 8. Yeah,
Well, that's like Legacy of the Monarch has 10, so there's two more of that one. So I'm just
it's
like,
just like golly, and
I'm sure there's gonna be
golly.
something else that pops up that I'll watch. But
So here's the question I had, and I know we're over 2 hours now, which is really impressive.
we're just up here fucking
We're
talking.
talking right now. Here's the question I had. So the biker gang,
Yes.
Russo was the only guy he told they're going to Boston, right?
Yeah, he was the only one that he told that they were going to that spot. I think.
Here's my question though: how did the bikers know they were going to be in Boston?
Well, he said it. He said it in the car chase. He said you got a rat in your house.
Right.
So somehow, some way,
So
there's somebody
someone,
heard or knew about it.
somebody in the special investigators,
Yes.
which I think it's either It's not. It's not. It's a who's the who's the chick?
The white chick?
No, the one that was in season one, Neely.
Yeah.
I don't
I don't
think it's
think it's
her.
her.
Obvious. I don't think
But
so. It's
okay,
it's
so that was
either
my thing too from the very
it's
beginning,
either
like,
the white
everything going
chick
on.
or
That
the
was
dude.
I had a hunch, and it's been a hunch kinda early on in the season that somebody within the group is going to be
They're gonna
a
turn.
they're gonna not turn, but be one of the bad guys. I have my feeling that's gonna be the case, and it's either gonna be well, I'm trying to think about it. Okay, so, like,
Well,
it's
there's
gonna be
only
it can't
two.
it's 2
There's two you
but,
can
like,
pick from.
I don't think it can be the white guy because it has family. The only one that has really nothing to lose is the chick, and the way that she can kinda get in there is that she has the ability to manipulate somewhat of what Reacher does because she's well, 1, now she slept with him, but 2, she has a little bit of a connection with him. So she's in a
Hmm.
spot where she can manipulate stuff more than the others can.
Right, and I think of the three, I think he trusts Neely the most, and
Yes.
I think he trusts her the second most, and I
Mhm.
think he trusts the dude obviously the last.
Right, out of their
Which I think
4.
still think he trusts him, but it's the
The
pecking
least out of the
order.
other 2, yeah.
Yeah, so that would make sense that she sleeps with him, then she double crosses him.
Yes. I would not be surprised if she's the one that double crosses or if there is a double cross, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's not one either, like, not to make
Or
it sound cliche or whatever, but
or that like I can see a scene of they separate, go find Langston, reach as Langston about to like kill him, then she goes nothing personal, Reacher,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
pulls a
yeah,
gun on him.
right.
Him, her, and AM are working together.
Yeah, that could be a good point.
But why would? But she shot those those. Her and Neely shot those two dudes out of the car when they were trying to switch the missiles.
Yeah, but at that time, like, depending on how much you're involved or your cover or whatever, like, those guys are just collateral at that point, you know what I mean? Like, they're not
True.
big proponents of it. They got what they needed, you know what I mean? So, it's gonna be interesting to see, um, to how it all shakes up. I don't know, it's such a great show, like, every time I watch it, I'm just glued
Just
into it.
makes you think.
Oh, it's a great show. And the movies with Tom Cruise were pretty good too in terms of, like, how this guy, the person, the character, how he operates, how he thinks about everything. It's just so,
Right.
like
The the only thing I know people were a little negative with Tom Cruise is, Tom Cruise is not the biggest dude.
no,
In Reacher, I think in the books are supposed to be like basically
like
what Alan Richmond is, just
right.
a huge person, just a big dude,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
just a massive human being.
right. Like, the when they wrote when the books, the Jack Reacher guy in the books is more like what you see in a TV show and not like Tom Cruise in the movies.
Right.
But
Yeah.
they're both pretty
Because
good. Like, the movies are good.
hmm
And then, of course, the TV show is fantastic, so it's great, it's great.
yeah, it's so good. Yeah, man, I've been like I said, Reacher's been doing that for me. Um, like I said, Netflix has John Wick, so I started that
Great movie
today.
series. I remember you talked about that
God,
just
it's
a
so
minute ago.
good,
Great show. The only thing is I have not seen the newest one yet, but
bro.
what I wanna do is
Watch all four.
I wanna watch the first 3 again to kinda refresh what's going on, which I have an understanding of what's going on somewhat, but just kinda refresh it and then watch that latest one. And they also have a TV show on,
Oh, the Continental.
yeah,
It's
it's
on Peacock.
yeah, Peacock, which is like a prequel, like, before all the John Wick stuff, but
Hmm.
it's pretty good.
I need to.
There's a bunch of stuff I wanna watch. There's something
Have you
else.
seen Ted Lasso?
Yeah. So,
How is
if
it?
you okay, I know it's
Never
about
seen.
soccer.
Never
I know
seen
it's
it.
know it's about soccer, stuff like that. But
I've
it's
heard it's really good.
okay, so it has soccer in it and it's about soccer, but the main story, especially as you get into seasons 2 and 3, it's 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 a fantastic show. I'm just gonna say it's fantastic. the
That's
messages, the stories, the building of the characters. Like it's
hmm
about a soccer club and these players and stuff like that. But like as the story grows, it's less about the sport and more about the people.
right. It's a guy knows nothing about the sport of soccer,
Yeah.
bringing
If you
bringing
plan
everyone together.
yeah, if you plan on watching it, you're gonna binge watch it. It's a great show.
That's again, I've that's what I've heard. I've heard it's awesome.
Yeah,
I
it's
just never.
it's
I've
just start watching it. I'm telling you, it's a great. It's one of those shows where it's gonna be like some of these other ones you've watched, where you just watch, especially now since it's over and there's 3 seasons and you can just binge watch it.
mm,
You're gonna be hooked. I'm telling you. Like
see.
it.
I don't have Apple TV.
Shit, I can try to share you mine and my
That's fine.
login.
It's $9, man. I mean, crap.
Yeah, it's not.
You
It's
know, it's
well, if
freaking
you if you have a Apple has the thing now where it's like the Apple One, whatever it's called, and it's like $16 a month, but it's like your the TV, the music, all this stuff is
right. It's all
bundled.
bundled
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
I like a good bundle, man.
I do too. My idea I've had I talked to you about my sister, but I was just trying to think more of the logistics of it. But like I wouldn't say $1 million idea, but to come up with some type of system or way to where you can get all these streaming devices into
In
one,
one,
and then you pay one price, and you have access to all of them
mm-hmm.
instead of it being all separate. You know what I mean? Like just a whole conglomerate of these streaming sites. So like you say, because I don't know how much. Like I'd have to go through the math. Like if you got Netflix, if you got you know Hulu,
Oh, I can.
ESPN, Disney Plus, all together. If you got
Mm-hmm.
Peacock, if you got Apple TV, if you got Max, if you got Amazon Prime, like add all that stuff up per month, and say it's $80 or whatever, and then you charge them out for all of them, and then what I mean. But that's my thing.
The thing is though, like with all these different streaming services now, you're paying basically what you paid for um, direct and dish.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, and so like the whole idea was unplugging was like, hey, I'm gonna be cheaper, and well,
Right,
you everything you add, like I've gotten rid of Netflix 3 or 4 different times because they
right.
keep upping the price.
Yeah,
Well, the big reason I keep adding it because I'm a big stand up comedy fan,
yeah.
and
They got great shows on there.
they have great stand up, and
I
so
watched one on
I
Amazon. That was pretty
Dave Chappelle's new stand-up special just came
good. Yeah.
out,
Well, like
and I haven't seen it yet.
Amazon is starting to get more like Netflix too because they had a stand up of a guy that I follow on Instagram and it was pretty funny. I forgot the
What's
name.
his name?
Is that white dude that I share with y'all a couple times here and there?
Jim Gaffigan.
No, he's a young cut, a younger kid. I have to look at it and see here.
Uh,
Jesus, I follow him on Instagram. It's freaking hilarious. Give me.
if
I'll
he,
come to me here in a second.
yeah, I got you.
But I watched his special on Amazon. But yeah, But the thing is too, like a lot of them nowadays, like when they first came out, it was just like one price for everything. Like for
Mm-hmm.
example, like Netflix, it was like say it was $9.99, right? I remember when Netflix was just they would send you DVDs. That's
Right.
how old I feel. But like, um, you know what I mean. But like now, of course, then their prices. But now that it seems like a lot of them have different price plans. Like Netflix has it to where you get there's one for like 6.99, another one for 12.99, and then like their max unit. And of course nowadays what they throw in there for the cheaper stuff is ads.
Oh, dude, I was talking to somebody the other day about that. It's
Oh,
like
Trevor Wallace, I think is his name.
I'm sure I've seen them.
Let me see if I can look it up.
I'm sure I have, man. Dude, I'm looking at this. This is great podcasting right here. us just looking at our damn phones, and
Yeah, I'm trying to find a picture. They're all videos.
it's all good. I'll find them.
A priest dating show called Pews. What? Race car driving.
Oh, Trevor, yeah.
He's
I
shout out Trevor Wallace. He's
He
freaking hilarious
is
with his little skits and stuff.
hilarious. Yes,
His
he has a
his
special.
yeah, it's a stand up on Amazon Prime
Apple News.
called
So all this
Pterodactyl.
for
It's
how much?
pretty
How much is this a month? 19.99, 19.95
What's that one?
for the Apple one.
Hmm. How much? Oh,
For
the Apple One.
yeah, but it's so I have Apple Music. I That's what I use for to listen music. Anyways, Apple Music,
Hmm.
Apple iCloud with 50 gigabytes of storage. Okay, I may pull the trigger on this bad boy. Like you got me thinking now, bro.
Yes, sir.
You got me thinking now. Um,
What I do?
yeah, man. So there's that. You got anything else, man? I'm just about
I think
we're
we're about just
two
tapped out.
we're we're 2:15
Yeah,
in this thing, man.
yeah. I don't know, man. We're just
Um,
up here talking. It's not like we have many people that listen. We're just up here just shooting the shit with the boys. You know what I mean?
yeah. Um, sorry, cloud. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Dude, how much am I paying here? Sorry, I'm looking at my iCloud.
No, you're good.
I'm paying 99 cents for that. Bro, I'm about. Whoa, hello. So I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm
The
about
Apple
to.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm about to.
I did that too. I just felt like it was better.
I think so too. I think, especially with the music, the music's $10 a month, 11
Right.
bucks a month.
Yeah.
The iCloud's 99 cents for 50 gigabytes, so that's $12 with those two. And I'm
How much
sure
is Apple TV by itself would probably be nowadays by itself is probably like at least
uh,
$12.99 or so
I can tell you real quick.
by itself.
I have it out. Let me see. Apple TV. Let me see. Apple TV 9.99.
Okay.
So 10. Yeah, you're saving like $2 or $3
Yeah.
with that bundle. With just the Apple TV is 9.99 and the Apple Music's like 10.99 and the 50 gigabyte of iCloud is 99 cents. So you're saving a little bit and you get the arcade stuff with it.
Right.
So yeah, I'm about to like cancel a lot of the stuff and re-up.
Oh yeah. Good.
It's about to happen. So pretty pumped about this now.
Absolutely.
So well man, hey, it's good talking to you, brother.
Always.
Like I
It's hey
said,
man, we've been on the show for 120 minutes plus. Good math there. I know.
that
I
is
think
pretty
it's good.
impressive because
Uh,
I don't know.
well, I'm just thinking 60 minutes is an hour. 60 times two is 120. So we've been going at it for a bit. Just the two of us here talking about sports, talking about TV shows, talking about video games, all the above. Having a great time here is just like I always do. It's almost kind of like we're just hanging out, just talking, and we just happen to be
No, 100%.
making a a podcast show about it. That maybe a dozen people listen to or chime in and listen to it. So hopefully they're entertained somewhat. Um, hopefully they like our sport takes we talk about, whether it's from the high school realms or when we're talking about college. We didn't even really talk about professional football today, but that could be a topic for next week as the regular season winds down this week and we get into
Yeah.
playoff time. You know what I mean? Interesting how
Here,
everything's going to shake out there. Go ahead.
here's the sad stuff about it. How many more football games do we have?
Oh, yeah, it's not very much. We
We
have
have
the national
we have
championship.
one college game, Super Bowl, NFC Championship game, AFC Championship game, NFC Divisional Series. Those
Yeah,
two games, right?
wild card.
AFC Divisional Series. Those two games, and we're down to like 10 to 12 football games left in the year.
It's getting there, man. Just like
It
every year, it
sucks.
just
God dang, it sucks.
goes by faster and faster.
I know, man. It's awful.
It's just how the cookie
Like,
crumbles. So,
I would rather. I don't know. Oh, before we get out, before we leave,
uh
did you see? Did you see the XFL and the USFL are
yes,
merging
yes, and
to the
I think it's a great decision to unite those leagues together. I thought they both had their own successes and failures, but I think coming together helps them out more than it hurts. Especially to start off with, right? I think they should focus instead of trying to have two different leagues going on at the same time or
Mhm.
overlapping. You just have it be one and try to build off that one league, um, and then build from there instead of having to try to do different stuff.
Right.
I like how they have kept teams from both leagues, four specifically,
Well,
and they're going to have eight
that's
total.
their divisions.
Right.
US, which I like that. I like
I
that
like how the
being.
first game is going to be between the winners of each league.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's good. I think people enjoyed it as long as the product is good on the field. Um, I think people enjoy it. I think last year it kind of got a little bit more buy into it compared to previous iterations of it.
What I
So
liked is the new rules,
I do too.
and I'm kind of curious what they're going to do rule wise with this new league. What rules are going to keep implementing, if that makes sense.
Right. Oh, I agree 100%. I think that's a great, yeah. Some of those rules were great. I'm not like there's some of those rules that you know they gain a little bit more steam that you would like to see implemented in NFL or college or whatever because of they can make the sport and make the game more exciting. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I think it was XFL with the extra point. I don't know if you might have talked about it just now, but the extra point about go from one, two, or three. I thought that was a cool concept.
The kickoff rule I thought
Yeah, that's the one
was
where they're all like 10 yards. Like your return team's like
hmm
10 yards, and they couldn't.
they couldn't move until the returner caught the ball.
Yeah,
So it's reducing the amount of full speed collisions you have.
right.
And so, don't hate that. Um, the only thing that really kind of annoyed me was all the on field, like, reporter, like, the dude just threw a pick and they interviewed the head coach what his thoughts were.
Yeah, so a little bit
Did
too.
I wasn't a fan on that. was not a big fan of that kind of stuff. But
Yeah, a little bit too
I get it.
too inclusive, I guess. Like too trying to be in the moment, trying to be unique. I guess you know what I mean.
Right. But excuse me. Yeah, I'm but pretty excited about it. I'm kind of curious to see how this works.
Yeah, sure. I think it's going to be pretty good. Like I think the more that they can focus on, they got 8 teams, which is not too much, not too many. I mean, too less or too many. Focus on those 8. Focus on putting a really good product on the field. You know what I mean? And then
I
that's
think
gonna
that's the biggest thing with that, man. It's like what was the league that freaking floundered? Like they
I
couldn't
think it
pay
was
the
wasn't it
AF
no
the Alliance American Football.
yeah, the Alliance.
Like they had to cancel like within like 3 weeks because they ran out of money
Yep. Yep.
because they could not pay their players or anybody basically. And so, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm I am pretty pumped about kind of seeing like what you said, kind of them investing in these teams and not making it so big where you can't keep up with everything. I think 8 teams is probably the sweet spot.
Yeah, I think especially beginning and whatnot, just to begin out, like focus on those. You have the 4 teams
Hmm.
from each league, so you kind of have carryover from those respective leagues and fan bases and stuff like that. Um,
And just want to add this one thing on the teams. Of the 8 teams, guess how many from Texas? 3.
3. You
Houston
have the
Roughnecks, the Dallas Renegade,
in San Antonio.
and the San Antonio Brahmas. So they kept those 3,
Yeah.
which
Well, one of
I don't hate that.
were all 3 of them from the XFL. I know 2 of them
Yes.
were.
I think the Brahmas were.
Yes, the San Antonio and Dallas Renegades were XFL teams. I just can't remember if the Houston Roughnecks.
The Houston Roughnecks were XFL,
Okay. Oh well, I didn't realize there was 3.
which big fan. I like that. I don't hate that.
No, I think it's good. I think it's good for football and all that stuff. So hopefully it works out. Obviously they're putting a lot of resources into it to make it successful. So I think it'll be good. So
I do too.
I enjoyed it last year too. So I'm glad that maybe them combining forces can make it even better. So make it more united.
Oh yeah.
All right, brother. As always,
All right,
it is
man.
always great to meet up, to chat, to catch up about what's going on in our lives, and be able to talk sports and life, video games, movies, TV shows, whatever it is. Again, always appreciate you coming on. Blessing to have you be a part of everything. Shout out to our listeners who decide to go in uh, and almost 2.5 hours and decide that they want to
Yeah.
listen to it all. You know
Uh.
what I mean? Shout out to you for being troopers. If you listen to 5, 10, 15, all of it, we appreciate you so
Uh
much for tuning into the DAB podcast show. Remember, you can always find us where podcasts can be found: Apple, Spotify, all the above. We are also on YouTube and we are on X, but we don't really do much on X. Sorry, but we are there to let you know that new
We are.
episodes are
We
out.
are.
So we
I
are on
get
X.
a
So
I get a notification whenever the episode drops.
there you go. So make
I
sure you
go,
put on,
what?
go like us, go follow us, put on your notifications to let you know anytime new content drops for the DBAB podcast. I'm gonna fuck that up. Trying to go too fast. Uh, Whatever it is, try to say that real fast, 5 times in a row. But it's been a pleasure, Cletus. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the new year with all that it brings to you,
Yes,
all the
sir.
blessings it brings to you. Uh, all that good stuff. But without further ado, peeps, remember to always be the light, and it is the DBAB.